Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Dustin Fox, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull, and we got a lot to get to today. We've got Mike, Anthony, and Steve behind the glass. All hands on deck today. We'll be talking about Deshaun Watson's performance, which graded out highly on Pro Football Focus, and where he could take it from here. We'll talk with both Aditi Kinkhabwala and Kay Cabot. And the Guardians know it's down to two teams that they could possibly play in the next round, the Tigers or the Astros, plus the passing of Pete Rose and Dikembe Mutombo on overtime. What's up, fellas?
What's up,
Too much.
man?
What's happening?
I don't know.
I feel like I've been off for 2 weeks because last week we were remote. I didn't see you last week.
That's true.
You were a little under the weather?
No.
Or you out of town?
I don't know. It's had some things going on. I'm in the process of
things going on.
Well, here's what's going on.
I've always thought you were like in the CIA.
I wish I was. That would be fun. I'm actually like moving out of my house temporarily because we're having a lot of work done in my house. So it's just like everything's kind of in
all
flux.
that money you got, man.
Dang.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations on all your successes.
Anytime you said
you
you're getting some furniture, is it from Restoration Hardware?
No furniture. We're getting the kitchen redone, the bathroom redone. Like we're tearing out.
Oh, pardon me. That's even more expensive.
Yeah.
You get what? You getting marble floors and stuff?
No marble floors.
I mean,
Just
anytime.
I just want to see where the price range.
Your
is at.
renovations and my renovations is two different things.
What do you mean?
Renovations for me is I got some trees cut down. Renovations.
You know how expensive trees are?
That
We
is
just had
expensive.
two taken out
Yeah,
for
they
like
not-
$6,000.
They're not playing.
Man,
6 G's to take
Oh.
a tree.
Trees.
Yeah, they're not
it
playing.
is. It's
I
crazy.
cut it myself.
I just put up a new fence in my backyard. We got a lot. We're dug in this house.
And you,
dug in, baby.
You got so many renovations, you got to move out
Well, we don't have to, but I got
under construction.
They're
for
tearing
the,
out
for the
my
fall.
whole kitchen. It's
Good
going to be a couple
gracious.
of months. They're tearing out my
So
master
you
bathroom.
living in your like guest house or what?
Man.
I'm living in my fancy we're moving into the guest house. No. We're moving
getting
about 5 minutes away.
New kitchen and new master bathroom.
Yeah, we're doing it all at once, man.
Life is good.
Hey man, shout out to them Bet Rivers cats, man.
I'm
Y'all
telling you.
I see you.
I gotta
I
call
see you.
Yeah.
Lord have
go.
mercy.
Hey,
Let's go.
when's
So-
January coming? It's unacceptable.
Yeah, so we're moving to like a different part of town temporarily, but like we don't know, the work's starting Monday, so it's been a little
Speaking of
upheaval.
Speaking of Monday,
Yeah.
I don't watch the news. Do you? What is my wife? You know how your wife talks to you and you halfway listen because you're doing something. I'm sorry.
That sounds like my entire life.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I was playing a game of 2K
Yeah.
and my wife was trying to tell me something. She was saying
Yeah.
that she was ordering something from Walmart because what is this?
Oh, Prime Day coming up?
No,
Target Day?
down where the ports is about to be. They going on strike at the ports and you can't get nothing.
I know nothing about that.
Nothing.
Don't nobody know about this?
No.
They said the workers is going on strike today. So like it's
In
going to be
Cleveland specifically or all over
I
the
don't
country?
know. She just was like,
I know nothing
we gotta
about
stock up on stuff
Does
because
this
it's
have
really.
anything to do with Amazon?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
as long
No,
as Am-
I think what they was saying was like how you get stuff from like other countries and
Oh,
how
yeah.
it comes to the port. Like those people are going on strike, so you won't be.
Maybe
able
they're not
to
getting
get the
paid.
stuff
It
in.
must be a contract thing.
Yeah, that's
I
what they
assume.
want.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
I don't know why I watched the news. Good.
Steve says the dock workers are going on strike. It's
See?
across the eastern port.
I need
Who
to
said that? Steve? Steve's on top of that.
I need
Is
to-
it just in Cleveland, Steve, or all over the country?
It's the entire eastern seaboard.
Technically, we're not on the eastern seaboard, but
I need
Yeah,
to.
but that's where we get our stuff.
See, that's what. That's so.
Okay, yeah.
She was like, "We got to stock up," and
I
I
didn't
don't
know
know
that.
nothing about it.
Oh, you
what,
listen,
though?
I don't know. She said she wanted to get like water and
What
stuff.
would you like have to stock up? Like if you thought you weren't going to be able to get things. This is like Y2K
Yeah.
or like COVID again. What do we get?
I don't
Like
know. I
bottles
guess
of water?
toilet paper, water.
Oh, people still have toilet paper.
Yeah, that's true.
Get a bidet.
Although I got a bidet and now I don't use toilet paper anymore.
That's
so
the whole point.
You get
It's a game changer.
What it
It's-
cost? Is it cheap? Right? They're cheap.
I got one, so you can buy one that's like the whole toilet is the bidet, but
Yeah.
which
you
is,
buy like what an accessory? It goes on
it's an
top?
accessory. It's called a I don't remember what the name of it is. But
Dude, I've been dying for one. I had a hotel one time.
Dude, it's the best.
I had hotel one.
Man, it was. I didn't want to leave the room.
Best. I can't believe. It's funny.
Look at him.
I mean, think about it.
kidding
If
me?
you got,
Do you understand?
Think about this for a second,
Bro.
G. If you got crap on your hand, right?
no one likes a
Are
dirt-
you wiping it off with toilet paper or are you washing your hand?
All the above.
There you go.
He looked like
Dude, a bidet is a light.
Dustin took it a little too
life-changing.
far.
That's kind of.
I didn't want to leave the room.
I'm like, bro, you getting a lot of that jet action is doing some work. That's
Dude,
crazy.
It puts in work, bro.
And by the way, not to get too gross,
You're like, you're in the
but
bathroom
if you're feeling a little like blocked up,
Yeah.
you get the spray in there.
Yeah. Oh,
it
yeah.
loosens you up.
It does. Hey, listen, did you
What?
get the one that's heated seat?
I got mine's a heated seat.
Oh man.
These dudes got.
It's
these-
not that
First of all,
expensive.
this is how y'all got too much money. That's
Dude,
what
they're
y'all
not
telling
that
me.
expensive.
It's not. It was like $450.
I feel like that's.
That's a lot of
I feel
money
like
for
that-
a toilet accessory.
Dude, you're wearing $500
It's worth it.
sneakers right now.
I mean, does it give you a prostate
These,
exam too?
first of all, I got
Titus.
these was $180 retail.
Listen,
You should buy Muse, man.
listen.
I've never thought about doing that.
You're doing fine. You could afford the $450 accessory.
He's wearing $450 shoes.
There you go. It's worth it. I'm telling you.
You bought the
It
whole
has
toilet,
changed
right?
my life. No, not the whole toilet.
Hey, hold on.
No, it's an
hold on.
accessory.
It's called a
goes on
washlet.
top.
That's what it is.
I mean,
a washlet.
Wait a
have a
minute.
question.
So when you
Yeah.
what did you have to take your toilet seat off?
Yeah, I
So
didn't
it's
do
a
it.
whole
Yeah, yeah.
toilet seat with the thing on it.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And there's a dryer too.
So here's
The
my
dryer's
thing.
the best part.
Here's my thing.
right.
Does it go back and
you
forth?
Yes.
You talking about blockage, bro? How much jet power is on this stream of water?
Plenty.
Enough to get you going.
You just
Yeah.
you know what you do? You're supposed to rock
But
a
gee,
couple
there's
times
two-
on the
there's
toilet.
two Yeah, but it
moves.
You can do the hard,
Yeah.
the more hard stream, and then the more like spray around stream.
This is wild.
It's wild. I'm
so
telling you,
wild.
it'll change your life.
I'm just
Change
going
your
off of,
life.
Dude, it's one of those like don't knock it until you try it.
You don't
man.
have one at home?
No, but now I'm like buy one
have to
today.
get one.
Think
I
I'm buy one
tried,
today.
like I said, I tried one time. I had
Yeah.
a hotel. We was
Yeah.
in Hawaii, and it was great. But
Yeah.
not leaving the hotel part, I left plenty of times.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. But think about it.
It's crazy.
If you think about it this way, think about over the years how much money you'll save on toilet paper. Eventually, you'll make that $450 up.
I like Charmin Ultra Strong.
Hey, but you still need some soap in that though. You can't just get up like
I go in the shower.
you just. That still cracks me
go.
up. That every time.
Why
you
do you
go to
even
bed.
do it if you're gonna go in the shower anyway? Just
It's provisional.
It's extra. It's an extra layer.
Yeah, I agree.
You
You know what? Just
Dude,
use. You can,
I'm so with you on the cleanliness
you.
of
first
your,
of all,
your behind.
I use dude
Especially
wipes.
when you're fat,
Yeah,
man.
why don't you
when you're
just use
fat, you
wipes?
want to
So
be.
do I.
You don't
I
wanna
use
be,
dude wipes,
So
so
do I.
that's the same
Those are
thing.
bad for your toilet.
No, it's not.
Oh yes, they are.
Listen, it's a whole
It
other
says
ball of wax here.
dissolvable.
They're liars.
Dude, I talked about this on the radio. and-
Yeah.
No, I said they're liars too, but then
Yeah.
the freaking Cleveland sewage people tweeted at me.
What?
They said they're bad for the toilet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm agreeing with Cleveland sewage people.
So
they
they're
are
not
bad.
dissolvable.
So
I'm going on the pack. On the pack, it says dissolvable.
They're
wipes.
trying to sell you the wipes. They don't care about
That's
the
false advertisement.
So,
We
so
should- we should
I
sue
I
them.
tend to side with Tyvis on this one
Yeah.
because I prefer to read the packaging. It says plumber
They're-
approved.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Plumber approved.
Yeah, some plumber on crack living in North Dakota, maybe. Go ahead, Mike. Enough toilet talk.
Yeah, let's get into
Yeah.
some sports talk here, guys. And today's episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is brought to you guys by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season big with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Deshaun Watson played arguably his best game ever as a Cleveland Brown on Sunday. By far his best game of the season. He graded out extremely well on PFF, as you mentioned earlier. Bull, the second highest quarterback grade of any quarterback in the NFL, just behind Lamar Jackson this season. We didn't have Tyvis on yesterday. We didn't have Dustin on yesterday. So I want to start with getting their thoughts on Deshaun's performance, and then we'll transition to how the Browns can build on the positives from Sunday as we get ready for Washington.
All right, guys. What do you got for Deshaun?
I mean, I sort of think it's sad that that's the bar we have, that's been like his best game, because it was a solid game, no doubt. Like he made some throws. I think his receivers definitely let him down. The Amari pick was probably the play of the game. But overall, I mean, I think they've had the football like 8 times in the fourth quarter in the last couple of weeks, and you're not scoring touchdowns. I just think that for us to say he played great in a game like that, you got to have a game-winning drive. Like, you got to get your offense in the end zone. Yes, it's great that he's playing better, but it's a $250 million, not just him, like your offensive roster is like, the cap's like $200+ million. We've got to have better than that. You scored 10 points in the first half. You only get 16 because your defense scored on the scoop and score.
Right.
It's sad how bad this offense really is right now.
Tyvis?
He's not wrong. I mean, obviously, Deshaun played really well, and this was his best performance this year. I thought he did make some throws, though, that I was like, okay, there we go.
He 100%
He made
did.
the play, the call back from Amari Cooper, like that was a vintage Deshaun Watson moment. He scrambled around, found somebody, threw a dime to Coop, and Coop took it to the house. Like, that's the stuff that we're used to seeing. But I do think not just him. The biggest thing with this team is consistency. You know, if you go down the field and can score like that early in the game, and then you completely disappear for pretty much the rest of the game offensively, like that's a problem. Like, if you look at the Browns' 4 games, and it's always moments in the game where they look really good. Like, okay, I see this thing coming together. But then it goes a long time again before they can spark it up again. And their consistency is just terrible. But I thought Deshaun, I guess he finally realized, okay, I got X amount of time in the pocket right now. Thought the offensive line played a little bit better than they did a week ago, obviously. But, Max Crosby wasn't a part of this thing, so obviously that was going to be the case. But it seems to me he's found his clock where he's like, all right, I got to get rid of the ball. I got to make something happen by this moment. And he looked better doing that. So I applaud him for that. But the only thing I hated was the last play. That's 2 weeks in a row where he's done something on 4th down where they had to have it, and he doesn't get the ball out of his hand or he doesn't make it happen.
Totally
the
agree.
Giants game, that was the one he should have ate the sack, but he didn't. And then this one, he should have at least threw the ball, at least throw it up. You never know what can happen. Just throw it up and let something happen, and he took the sack on that one.
Go ahead, G. You gave your thoughts on Watson, but follow-up thoughts after the PFF grade comes down.
Hey, man, I went and got the all 22.
Yeah.
And I watched it twice. I am optimistic. I like what I saw. I think we downplaying it a little bit, fellas. Like, you got to look at it like this. If we look at his yardage, you take 2 plays. If Amari Cooper catches the ball on that route, he's wide open. That's another 20, 30-yard gain. And he did give you a comeback win. He threw the ball right to Jerry Jeudy, took the hit, 82 yards. If there's no holding on that play, we talking about a whole different game plan today. Now his stats is looking like 270, 280 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns, and a game-winning drive. But we can't control what another man does. At the end of the day, Nick Harris got called for holding. Mari Cooper getting 20.
It was holding.
It was holding. It was.
They did a nice job breaking down the replay.
Actually, there's a couple of plays. That got called back, and then the DeJuan Jones miss. That was a touchdown.
That was a touchdown right there. So my thing is, when I was looking at the throws, I was looking like, okay, if he going to take the check down, is he looking in the right place? Did he get it out? Sure. If he was going to be decisive and maybe he didn't like a certain look, he took the ball, pulled it down, and ran. I thought he showed more fire when DeJuan Jones was screwing up, looking around, not blocking. I like how he got it in his face. The only, like you said, the last play of the game, I'm like, you got to throw that football up. You're under pressure, but you still gotta give your guys a chance to do that late in the game. But I will say this: the game is the complexion is different if the kicker hits his extra point.
I agree with that.
Because now that's a field goal. We go into overtime with the momentum. So it's easy to say, oh man, the numbers didn't look that good, but we discounting that. If he just gets regular help, that game looks completely different from a number standpoint. It's looking like three more receptions, 25 of 32, and he don't have that many balls hitting the ground, and he did a good job of not taking the sack.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also want to go back to the last play because, it was a bunch of people. Like, I seen the people like, oh, Deshaun, it's 3 people open on this read. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, first of all, he clearly wanted to go to Jordan Akins, and the Raiders was playing cover 2. So that corner, if he threw the corner route, the corner was picking it off 1,000%. I don't know why people don't know that. And then when he tried to go back,
that's what happens when people think they're experts when they're not.
Yeah, but like the corner literally
He's
is
looking like
going
this.
back to go get it because he see the 7 cut coming. So by the time he goes from that, then they say, all right, go to the middle to the post. Well, by the time he tried to look there, the pressure was coming straight in his face. So that's what made him move. So it's like, I don't think people understand. Like, yeah, on a screenshot, it looks like it's open. But people don't go boom, boom, boom. Like, it's too much going on over the course of a game.
The play up the middle, in the middle of the field, was open for a split second. If he had been looking that way at that moment, he could have made the play.
I don't know. We talking about the last play?
Yeah.
No, because the safety was standing right there.
No, Jerry Jeudy, so what Bull's talking about,
Yeah.
in that last play, Jerry Jeudy in the freeze frame, which
there's
very dangerous precedent set when you take a freeze frame. Jeudy was going across the middle.
Yeah.
Akins was going on the corner to the left.
Right.
And Cooper was running some sort of rail route on the left. And Cooper said he ran the wrong route, by the way, which is why the coverage got. He actually.
I'm not
mentioned he ran the
blaming
route.
Deshaun for the Jeudy part. I'm saying because that wasn't his first read, obviously.
No, but the reason that Jeudy was even open on that is because Deshaun looked to the left and that safety went to go over the top.
Right. So even if I say, well, if he was looking at Jeudy right there,
the safety would have just ran his eyes and went right there.
That's unfair. I said yesterday, I think what we're doing as a football fan base, and it's probably happening all over the country, or in most places. I'm sure it's not happening in Kansas City or anything, but what we're doing when we talk about, especially Deshaun Watson, we're doing the same thing we all do in politics, is we pick a side, and we can't move out of that side no matter what happens. So everybody wants you to say, when it comes to Deshaun Watson, he sucks or he's great.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear the in-between. There is no in-between. You have to completely agree with me here, or you have to completely agree with me here, or you're evil, or you're a horrible person, which is obviously stupid. It makes no sense. Like, when Deshaun Watson has been crappy,
everybody said it. We all said
he
it.
wasn't crappy. I thought he played a good game. Was he great? I'm not going to go that far. I don't think it was great, but I thought it was a very good game. I thought it was definitely the best game he's played with the Browns. Yes, the bar is lower, but I think there's another thing at play that affects.
Well, they scored 10 points, man.
And that's ultimately
so my point.
That's why I'm not giving. That's why I can't say he played a great game because he did. In the end,
he didn't.
They didn't score enough,
and he didn't play well enough to win. He didn't. I mean, you can't tell me an offense scores 10 points.
But here's the thing.
They left 14 out there, too.
And, like, at what point, this is the reason I get upset is at what point do we call a spade and say, listen, you other people are not doing your job.
I think we've been doing that.
No, if you drop, how was that? Listen, if you're the quarterback and I put it on your chest plate,
that's all I'm arguing.
I think you gotta catch that.
Gee, I think the thing for me was when I watched this game, this is one of those ones where I said they did not lose because of Deshaun.
That is true.
They didn't lose this game because of Deshaun.
That's fair.
I don't think anyone's saying that, though.
No, and I certainly was not saying that. If people took it as that, I just my point is that your quarterback gets all the credit when you win games. Like, okay, you've got to do a better job finding a way to get in the end zone, period. I mean, there were two drives prior to the last drive. I mean, the one drive, there was a scramble by Deshaun. I thought he definitely could have got the first down. It ends up being he falls 2 yards short. Kind of got a bad spot, but still, they go third down, they get stopped, they punt the ball. Then that's 4 minutes, you lose the clock.
But ultimately, you have to, like, in the end, even with the penalty for the hold, even with the drop,
you got to overcome, Adam.
On that fourth down play, he didn't make a play on that fourth down play.
I thought he was going to, by the way. Like, when I was watching the game, in my mind, I'm like, Browns got this. They're going to win this game.
I thought so too.
I
was surprised.
But I think I see it how G sees it because it's kind of unfair in the sense of the holding call. Like he literally made the play.
He made the play.
And then on the DeJuan Jones miss, like it literally is a touchdown. He literally gonna drop the ball where it's supposed to be. But like how is that his fault?
Nick Harris,
nobody's saying it's his fault.
Nick
No, I'm
Harris
just saying, like
we on the 20, right? We going in. It's 1st and 10 on like this on like 16.
Yeah, that was terrible.
The dude just like
yes, the whole listen. There is nobody on this offense getting a pass.
No.
And to me, in this game, the offensive line, which I agree with you, played better. But the offensive line, the wide receivers, the running backs, the coach, to me, get more blame for this game than Deshaun Watson does in the loss, in my opinion.
And by the way, guys, like we're being critical of the offense, and we should be because they're one of the worst offenses in the league right now. But fellas, the Raiders are like not a great team, and we couldn't tackle for anything.
Defense sucks. I texted a stat that I saw in an article on ESPN today. The Browns are 32nd in the league in yards after contact allowed in the run game.
Yeah.
32nd. They're dead last. They're giving up almost 2.5 yards after contact in the running game. That's crazy
That's
bad.
just an effort thing, though. I mean,
That's
that's what's so crazy about it is, like, you know, these guys are good players. Like, you know, when you have yards after contact, that tells me, number one, like, you don't have guys running the ball. Like, you don't have 3, 4, 5, 6 guys swarming to the ball, because the yards after contact only happen when the first guy, you know, you come in, you try to make a play.
Yeah.
Well, if you miss the tackle and you force it inside, well, you should have 5 guys make that stop instead of allowing him those extra yards. So, you know, that was an issue. I mean, we didn't get a ton of a pass rush on Minshew. I mean,
outside of Miles.
it's Gardner freaking. You lost to Gardner Minshew and Daniel Jones back-to-back weeks.
Two of the worst starting.
How can you say that this team's a playoff team?
Right now they're not.
It's just the defense to me. It looks like they believe they press Clippers from last year. Like, when you watch, like, don't get me wrong, they're not giving up a ton of points. Like, I know if you give up like 20 points, 16 points, all those, you should win those games in the National Football League. But as for, like he said, the effort on it, like, I just be looking at it sometimes like, what are y'all like? What did y'all think y'all just gonna roll the helmet out and be what y'all
When
was
did the
last
Raiders
year?
become some like?
The Raiders suck. And they without Devontae Adams.
When did the Raiders all of a sudden become, you know, like the Niners in the 90s in terms of running the football? I mean,
who is their best skill
They don't have Roger Craig in the backfield or Bo Jackson.
No. If you look at the last 2 weeks against the Raiders best skill position player probably is Brock Bowers right now with Devontae Adams hurt.
He was the only guy
and
had.
he's a rookie. And
He did
for the
not.
Giants,
Trey Tucker looked like
Killed him.
you know, freaking Jerry Rice out there.
he killed them. And
Akron's
Well, that's
finest.
that was
and
that-
Malik Neighbors is excellent with the Giants, but they don't have any others. Like, the defense hasn't given up a ton of points, but look at the offenses you've played the last 3 weeks. Jacksonville, the Giants, and the Raiders. I mean, those are bad offensive teams.
That's true too.
So-
I just, it's something about that. I don't know why. I get some plays to why the corners played off, because some formations dictate you got to play off. Like if receivers is close, obviously somebody press somebody off, or they just play it off. So I get those formations, but the little spray outs and the little hitches, I was like, what are you doing? Like, at least challenge it.
Terrible play.
Challenge it.
McNuggets, you said you got something. You had your hand up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I got one thing, 'cause I want to get back to Deshaun and then pushing forward how this offense improves. I thought his best throw of the entire game was the incomplete pass to Judy, where he laid it perfectly, and the defender just made a really nice pass breakup.
That was
You
a
go
great
back
pass.
towards the
That was
ultimate
dime.
cue.
That was a
That
dime.
was actually, in my opinion, the best pass
was
he
dime.
made all game. But let's look ahead to Washington, whose secondary is not great. They've given up a ton of pass yards. What do the Browns have to do to build off what we saw against Vegas?
Hope their offense can score enough points.
I'm telling you.
Because it's going to be
gonna be a shootout.
Because the Commanders are going to score 30 points.
Yes.
And the Browns can't score 20 right now. So the question is, I don't give a rip how talking about defense and shutting these guys down. Jaden Daniels and this offense are. I mean, I watched the last 2 weeks. I know you watched them because the Bengals got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
So you know that's the deal.
How you had to put that in
He
there.
took a stray.
Yeah, no doubt. The Washington,
You would admit they got their ass
Oh,
kicked.
sure.
Wait, what was the score?
I mean, it was a close game because
Yeah,
the Bengals' offense is good, but their defense is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they went
I don't even think Washington was ever in a third and long the whole game.
They weren't, and they didn't have to punt.
No.
Oh, yeah, that was that
By
game.
the way, I think one thing we got to get used to now in the NFL right now is that yardage, we can't, when it comes to Deshaun or anybody else, we can't think of yardage the same way because yardage is way down for quarterbacks.
That's a lie.
But
Didn't they just CJ threw for 300, Justin Fields threw for 300.
that's a couple of guys. Tyvus.
Baker Mayfield threw for
He
340.
did, but overall, the amount of 300 games is way down. But I'll tell you what's up is completion percentage because everybody's throwing the ball short. We're seeing, and we saw it with Deshaun. I mean, most of his completions.
You know, Deshaun's in the game in his time in Cleveland has only 8 times thrown for 200 yards.
Out of
16, 17.
Something like that.
16 games. Well,
I think it's 18 now.
But 200's a low number.
yeah, 200 is a very low number. But I almost feel like right now 250 is the new 300. And I hate that because I'm all about the offense.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. 250,
But still, how often is he at 250? Once?
I think
Twice?
once.
I'll tell you in 1 sec.
I think it was
Not
one.
often.
I think it was one time.
But
The Tennessee game?
In terms of the Arizona game he threw for last year, in terms of what can they do to build off of this, I can't even look at it that way because Deshaun played better, but everybody else sucked.
Judy wasn't bad.
He's okay. He's been fine.
Now everybody else sucked.
You know what? Everybody's talking about Judy's having a great year. He's on pace for 850 yards.
Who said
that's
that?
Nothing.
Wait a minute. Who said?
I've heard a lot of fans
that's
say
actually
Judy's great.
Way higher than I expected him to
Bull
be.
one game, by the way, over 250. It was the Tennessee game last year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. One game over 250. They can't run the ball.
Which is the
They
biggest
can't.
problem.
I mean, DeJuan Jones is absolute garbage right now. He can't play. Why is he still starting?
He can't move.
Who's playing? Who else is gonna play?
He can't play, Tyvus.
Adam the Bull.
Who else is gonna play?
Run an ad in the
So
paper.
wait.
Yes.
You sit DeWine down. Who's going in?
I just said
Anybody.
it. Run an ad in the
man
paper.
can't move.
Yeah, it's tough.
they
Man.
didn't get reinforcements soon.
Look at that. 26th in points per game, 30th in passing yards per game, 26th in rushing yards per game, 22nd in turnovers.
And
That's a losing formula.
Can I say something as well? Like, as much as we rail on Deshaun, and I am to blame maybe more than most because I am critical of what we expect from this quarterback and for this team to be. The problem I have with this team is that you tried to force feed this offense down Deshaun's throat in this team, and it's not working right now.
It was supposed to be different, but
I see nothing different.
No.
In fact, it looks worse to me.
Yeah.
And outside of Stefanski's first 10 plays that he scripts, the offense is completely AWOL.
That's it. They look great on the scripted plays, and then they suck.
Yeah.
I was looking up something. I wasn't even in the chat. I was looking up something. I saw a tweet somewhere. Maybe McNuggets, you could look it up. And it goes to that point. We talk about the quarterback, and we talk about a lot of things in the offense not looking great. But while Kevin Stefanski is here, I believe he has never ranked higher than 19th in offense since he's been here.
In terms of points, in terms of yardage, what category?
You're basing that on yardage?
It was either total offense or yardage, but
There was always middle of the
In
pack.
2020, they were 10th in scoring.
So the stat I seen said that they have never been higher than 19th when it comes to in terms of offense.
The Browns have never been.
If you talk, I'll look yards. So if you're confident they were 10th in points,
Yards is stupid. To judge team based on yards is dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, in that case, we shouldn't talk about 300-yard passers then, should we? You just told me that, right?
All right, fair.
well, gee, they were 16th in total yards
That's why
last year.
the EPA stuff really matters.
All these advanced stats are much better.
They were 14th in 2022. In 21, they were 18th. They actually haven't been lower than 19th
The
yet.
Browns haven't been top 10. The Browns have only been top 10 in scoring. I'm sorry.
It might have been scoring.
They were 10th in 2020.
It might have been scoring.
And then
I'll
that one
look
year with
scoring
Derek
'cause-
Anderson, they were 8th. They've never been higher
was
than
just
that
looking
since the
for it.
80s.
That was Baker's year, COVID year,
2020, they were 10th in scoring. I was looking that up this morning.
I like those shoes there, Tyvus, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
In 2020, they were 13th, Bull, not 10th.
In scoring?
Yep.
On Pro Football Reference, it said 10th.
In 2021, they were 20th. In 2022, they were 17th.
Where are you looking at that?
TeamRankings.com.
That's what you trust? I looked at Pro Football Reference. I'm going to trust that better.
And they were 12th in 2020. Yeah, gee, that stat was just wrong. You saw whoever you saw that from that stat.
I might have been looking for it. I was like,
I don't know about your list. I don't know what the hell Team Rankings.
No, I've been there. It's a good site.
Team Rankings is a great site.
It's a great site. We talking
Great
about
site,
Bull.
yeah.
I don't know. I never heard of it.
This ain't
Out of
politics,
the loop
man.
on this one?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, to answer the question, how do they build upon it? It's the run game. That's to
You got any faith in the run game?
No, but I thought
don't.
Ford ran hard.
That was a great run in that last drive.
Phenomenal
He
run.
broke a tackle there.
So you said he's earned more carries.
I would say give him the ball more. I think he goes from 0 to 100 quick.
The problem is the rest of the line.
Yeah,
Okay, let me ask you. You said DeJuan Jones is complete garbage right now.
right now. He's in terrible shape.
Is that pass blocking or run blocking?
I think both.
So you would run to the left.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I thought the rest of the line did a decent job overall. I don't know what you guys think. I just
They
think
were better.
DeJuan.
They were better.
Nick
I thought
Harris did
DeJuan
not-
was so
Nick
bad
Harris,
it made
no.
the line look worse.
Nick Harris was trash. Zach Zenner.
I thought he played pretty
I
well.
thought he played pretty well too.
The left side was good.
but he had like a 40-something. Like,
did he?
Postage didn't come back, right?
Yes, he did.
He came back and then went back
He
out.
was in and out twice.
Yeah, I saw that. So that hurts too. Your center's the most important position.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with the run game, and I would be anxious if somebody asks this question. So Bill Callahan was in charge of the run game. He was offensive. He was the run game coordinator. So that means he decides what blocking schemes you're going to run, whether you're going to double team, zone, gap, do all this stuff, right? We're going to leave a tight end or in or whatever the case may be. Who's doing that now? Because if we watch and we look, these guys have they're like a line with no identity. That's not what they do. These guys, Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller and Pochich, those guys get on your hand in the ground and come off the ball and knock people around, and we're gonna run, and then we get some play action off that. Whose decision was it to just say we drop it back 5 wide with a quarterback that scrambles around a whole lot, and these guys haven't even been indoctrinated or even part of that game?
But have they been running 5 wide as much the last couple of weeks? I think it's been down.
According to the Browns website, the run game specialist is Nick Charlton.
Whoever the hell that
Who
guy
is that?
He's the offensive assistant.
Who is that?
He'll be a head coach in 3 years.
Run. His
you know what?
title is run game offensive assistant / run game.
So you
specialist.
went from
This is his first year with the Browns and his first
feels
year
like
as an NFL coach.
Ho. Thank you, Ty.
First year as an
Are
NFL
you
coach.
like Black Santa over here?
This right here. Ho.
what it says.
Merry Christmas. What the heck is that?
That is. Am I
The-
reading?
you
Am I reading
take-
that correctly?
What was he doing before this year?
What
He
was
was with
doing?
UConn.
He was working at Mr. Chicken.
Said UConn. Working at Michigan.
UConn's one of the worst
Programs in
Division
so,
I football programs in America.
To be fair, Jim Mora last year, they ran the ball for almost 200 yards a game, so it was one of the top 30 teams in the country. Just saying.
Hey,
But here's the thing.
But you went from Bill
But they're also
Callahan.
UConn,
You
you're right.
went from Bill Callahan, one of the best offensive line coaches who's handling your run coordination, to a guy who has no face on Madden. Like he has it's a blank screen, and this dude is calling, and then you wonder why you can only get 2 yards a carry.
And let me think about it this way. This to me signals what I mentioned yesterday, that for the first time since he's been here, I think Kevin Stefanski needs to give up the play calling. And it's not because he's doing a bad job necessarily play calling. It's because
He's not managing the game well.
He's not managing the game well.
He's not.
And it's been this year he's done a terrible job with timeouts, with clock management.
Adam, you can't call that timeout.
That was
Before
so
fourth.
dumb.
It was so dumb. At least,
Especially if you were just going to hard count it.
Frankly, I mean, you actually put more pressure on Deshaun Watson.
That's right.
Because if he doesn't get it, it's the game is over. At least if he, whatever, he turned the ball over, you've got 3 timeouts. You're probably going to get another chance because
3 timeouts and good field position probably because they're backed up.
You're at the 15-yard line or whatever it was.
Some people were trying to argue with me yesterday. Well, but then they would have had to rush that final call in. Rush? No. They get calls all the time.
First off, they didn't have to rush anything.
Yeah, exactly.
They decided that they were going to try and get them to jump off sides,
so
which is a great novel idea, especially like end of half situations when like it doesn't matter and you're trying to get free yards.
Right.
There, the timeout is way more valuable than trying to get them to jump off sides.
Well,
which by the way, rarely happens.
And then he said this in his press conference. I don't know if you heard this. He was like, when that case, I just wanted to get them the best play, like the best play possible at that time. And I'm like, dog, you don't have 2 in the chamber?
I mean,
you got to
why
have
do
2
you
in the
need the
holster.
timeout to get the
Shouldn't
best
you
play
always
possible?
want to do that anyway?
Like,
Regardless if you take a timeout or not?
I
It's
think
a 4th and 2. You should want to get Deshaun the
in
best
my
play regardless.
In my opinion, I always think that when you call a timeout before that play, it makes it like so much bigger and harder. Pause. So in terms of the pressure on that play, and you also allow the defense a chance. I mean, they saw the set on. You lined up. You tried. I don't remember if they, I don't remember if they did or didn't. But the point is, they got a chance to really get themselves comfortable, recoup. Also, get a little swig of water. Like let's get ready to go.
So, do you think also that they'd be better off if Stefanski gave a play calling?
I don't know that I'd go on record saying that because I do think Stefanski is a whiz when it comes to offensive game plans. But if it's becoming a hindrance to the offensive management or just game management for the entire team, then it's got to go.
And I wonder if, getting back to your point about this new guy being the run game coordinator, maybe there's just even a little more on Stefanski's plate this year because of that, and that's putting him over the tipping point of being able to manage the play calling and manage the clock.
Well, that's their own fault, because you don't get guys that you gotta be looking over their shoulders.
This is crazy.
Now
I don't know that that's the case.
I'm just saying, like you gotta have guys in there that you trust, that you know can get it done. You don't want to be, now I can't do what I gotta do because I gotta go be a helicopter parent over this guy to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like that's too stressful.
Because you supposed to have you went from one of the most competent guys in the game, where Bill Callahan not only was a head coach calling plays in college, he was a head coach. His expertise is offensive line. So he knows how to deal with these dudes in a silo. Like that, he one of them position coach y'all done played before, where that position coach don't even be really reporting to the head coach. They got their own deal. Like, hey, he gonna tell you who's starting, what we running. He don't even got to check in with the coach. That's how much cachet he got. And you go from that to a guy who, and no disrespect, like I'm not saying the guy can't turn into something, but when you got as much pressure in a veteran late in line like you do right now, and the running game is going to be so much impactful for your team, I'm having a hard time saying I'm going to turn that over to somebody who has not done that job and is his first year. No disrespect. All I'm saying is, if you want to know why the running game looks kind of like, I don't know, it's hit or miss, you don't know what they're doing. Well, maybe because it's the experience level. And I'm with you, Bull. Look, he's the coach of everything. He's not just the play sheet. Sometimes you got to give something up, man. Like, everybody know people out there be like, listen, I got 3 jobs. Well, maybe you might want to quit one of them 1 jobs down and get you a solid job with some benefits.
I always say this to people all the time.
I take offense to that, too.
Hey, listen, you had to
It's
get rid
okay.
of some stuff.
It's okay to delegate.
Right.
Yes.
Let him do the job.
That to me, delegation shows a true
Leadership.
leader.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Mikey, go ahead.
We're going to bring Aditi Kinkhabwala in 1 second. I got to do a read first. And she was sitting at her computer. She just stepped out for 1 second. So hopefully by the time I'm finished with this Game Time read, she is back
Extensive
and ready
update
to
right
rock. Game Time makes buying your tickets to any live sporting event so easy, so simple, and you can do it from the convenience of your couch as long as you have a phone in hand. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I use my Game Time app to buy tickets for the Post Malone concert tonight, so it works.
Are you going
easy.
to?
It's simple. I'll see you over there, Dustin.
See you over there.
It's going to be a grand old time. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And you can do that all by taking the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Bull? It's
Game time.
And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in Aditi Kinkhabwala to the show. What's up, Aditi?
Hey, guys. I was with our old friend, Joe Flacco.
I know that, Aditi. I saw your post-game interview when the Colts thankfully beat the Steelers, held on because the Colts almost choked that game away. But after the game, I know you were talking with Flacco, and you said to him that Anthony Richardson told you that he thought Joe was cool, but Joe was not buying that. Correct?
I mean, it really happened. Legit, It really happened. And I mean, thank goodness I asked Anthony Richardson about Joe Flacco, what it's like having him in the room. And the first thing he said was that he's actually cooler than I thought he was. You know, like he's always just kind of seen him from afar, but when he's in the room, it's a different thing. And it was just such a great line. And this is one of those things that, you know, I've known Joe 15 years, like at least 15 years going back to, and I would see him twice a year with the Ravens. And so you build a relationship, you build a rapport, you know, like what kind of mood somebody's in. And it just was one of those, like, I don't know, it just felt right to repeat it back to him right there. And, you know, I had a feeling Joe would play along, but he played along even better by dropping that nugget on us, which, as you're referencing, he said Anthony Richardson told him that his mother is exactly 8 days older than Joe. So therefore, there is no way that Anthony could think he's cool.
Is that actually true, or were they be exaggerating?
No. It's
Okay.
true. I guess apparently at some point they were talking about Joe being born in 1985 and his birthday in January. And Anthony said, what day in January? And it really happened. But I'll tell you, that whole interview was a roller coaster of emotions because first, Joe Flacco makes me feel like every cliche about aging is true, that we get better like fine wines and no one can tell us we're too old to do anything and there's still life in us and we're feeling great. And then it's crashing down to earth because P.S., I'm even older than Joe Flacco. So I'm older than Anthony Richardson.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look a lot younger than Joe Flacco.
That's true.
How about that?
Much younger.
Hey,
As I'm a sweaty mess from my run. But okay, thanks, Dustin. Flattery will get you everywhere.
I know. That's why I flatter. Hey, so Flacco and Baker both play well. The Browns lose. It makes it this easy narrative here in Cleveland that the Browns kind of messed up with letting those guys go. Look, Joe Flacco was not going to be the long-term answer in Cleveland. We know that. But it does make things a little bit tougher to swallow on a Monday and Tuesday after a loss to a team that's not very good, Aditi. What do we make of that? I mean, I know it's like kind of just nothing because they're not here anymore, but it stinks, especially seeing Baker play well for us.
So, look, Joe Flacco was asked again about Cleveland offering him a deal, and he said, no, they never even came to me. But we knew that was going to happen, right? Because the minute that Deshaun wasn't playing well, people would be screaming for Joe Flacco. He had become this, cult hero last year. So that wasn't smart if all your eggs are in the Deshaun Watson basket. And I was told that they felt there was higher upside with Jameis Winston than there was with Joe Flacco. And if there is a future... Sure, but whatever. So that's that piece. What's the point in looking back on the Baker Mayfield deal? I mean, the Panthers, and we made this point when we had Andy Dalton leading the Panthers last week. Hey, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who going into last week's game were leading the most explosive offenses in the NFL. Well, the Panthers had both of them before they moved on from them, got Bryce Young, who they've now, at least temporarily or maybe permanently, whatever, moved on from. So it's always about puzzle pieces, fits, whatever. The Baker thing, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I know Adam doesn't want to hear it, but I really think that they could have stuck with him, could have won with him. I truly believe that he loved Cleveland and espoused the attitude of Cleveland and would have been great with the Browns. But whatever. Coulda. That's old news. What can you do now? So now the question is, do you believe in a sunk cost? And there was a sunk cost with Deshaun Watson, and that's that. Or do you still unequivocally believe in him and believe in what he can do for your team and believe in the way that he can lead your team and believe in all of what you did initially, which when you gave him that huge contract, and move forward with him? Like, that's the only discussion. There's no bringing Baker Mayfield back. There's no bringing Joe Flacco back. So now it's, okay, how do you, if you're all in on Deshaun Watson, how do you help him? Or do you decide to chalk up the last few years as a sunk cost and move on? And it sure feels like the Browns are still all in on him. So, okay, so how do you further help him?
Sorry, Dee, just to make one point, then I'll let the guys ask the questions. I'm not trying to steal all the time. The point I make when saying that about Baker and about Joe Flacco is that if Deshaun Watson won that game Sunday and threw for 350 and looked like a $250 million quarterback, no one would give a rip about what Baker and Flacco does. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care about other people and other cities and other teams if we're good. You know, like, we got to get our house right. If our house is right, then we wouldn't even give a darn about what happens everywhere else. That's it. That's my point. Go ahead, guys.
No, that's totally true. But I just want to say one other thing, and I think this is sort of like the fan perspective, and sometimes maybe like ownership perspective versus how a coach thinks. And Mike Tomlin is the perfect example of this. Mike Tomlin doesn't give two wits about style points. He doesn't care about any numbers. He doesn't care about the 300 yards. He just wants a W. It's about the letter, not the numbers. And I think that fans worry, like, how good did Deshaun look? Well, Deshaun almost did. Like, that O-line is not playing particularly well. The defense didn't hold up the way that you want the defense to hold up. There are a lot of other things, but Deshaun still did what he could, what was asked for. He could have gotten the W. I think you have a different attitude even without the 300 yards and the 3 passing touchdowns. You know, it should you need to start racking up some wins. And it's kind of, again, it's the conversation. It's why the Steelers are so happy with Justin Fields, even though the fans are like, hey, he's engineering wins. He's doing exactly what his coaches are asking of him. He's not getting greedy. He's not stepping out of that. You know, it's why there's some, I hate to call them questions about Joe Burrow, but like, look at that number. 1 win. Come on now. You know, you expect more.
Adam, thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's not his fault. He's played great in 3 out of 4 games. So they're not 1 and 3.
Sure, but again, like when you have a quarterback like that, when you have a Joe Burrow, a Lamar Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes, those guys are Superman. Like, you expect them to put a team on their shoulders and win.
Yeah.
And we all know that in football, you can't do that all by yourself. This is not Michael Jordan in basketball. But there's still sort of this expectation that you make everyone else better around you, that you mitigate for whatever issues are plaguing your team in some way. And when Deshaun Watson got that contract, the expectation was that he was going to be in that category, right?
Right. And he played well this week, but he's been unable to do it. I think the shift in the NFL that we're seeing with the running game getting bigger, having to throw shorter, is affecting that in general in the league, and we haven't adjusted our expectations to it, whether it's Deshaun or anybody else.
That's fair. But this is why the Browns, as they were constructed a year ago, this is why the Browns, as the offense that they were running from the time Kevin Stefanski has been here, was so tremendous and so suited what the game has become. And it'll be interesting to see when Nick Chubb is back and healthy, and do they kind of go back to starting from that point? You know, if your offense runs through your best player, and if your best player is Nick Chubb, what does that mean? Or is it, you know, again, let's see. Yeah. Let's see. There's still a lot of football to be played. Look, people were writing off the Ravens, and how good did the Ravens look against the Bills?
Yeah. Aditi, let me ask you about the defensive side of the ball, because you talked about, Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin and how that defense is always being stout. And we thought that the Browns were there, from last year. They certainly looked that part. This year, especially in this last game particularly, I know they didn't give up a lot of points. I know it was only 20 points, but it was just points of that game where they just looked not enthusiastic, I should say. What did you think?
It's so funny. So this past weekend, we were talking to Gus Bradley, who was quoting Rod Marinelli, who you, of course, know is one of the all-time best defensive line coaches the game has seen. Yeah, and he was talking about how much of defense is about mentality. Like stopping the run, for example. That's not as much, that of course is physical, but it's almost more mental. It's an attitude. It's a feeling you have. And last year, you very much felt the attitude, feeling, the speed with which the Browns played, that not on our blade of grass, like you're not crossing this line, that all of that felt almost tangible. And that's the piece that's missing right now. How much of that is Miles not being fully Miles? We saw this 2 weeks ago when we were in Vegas, and we had the Panthers versus Vegas, and Max Crosby was hobbled somewhat. He was limited. And that defense was just different without Max Crosby at 100%. How much, you guys can tell me this better, how much does this defense bleed off of the tone or the attitude that Myles Garrett sets? And if Miles's feet are not quite right, is that having an impact?
Yeah, well, the rest of the defensive line stinks. So
they're not as good as Myles Garrett, but that could be part of it, especially when your best players not have that level of energy. He still has the production, but I see the line of thought that you got with that. I'm trying to figure this out, Aditi, and I can't. The Browns in the first drive are just dominant. They're like they're the 80s 49ers. they're the Hogs under with the Washington Redskins back in the day. They might even be Jim Kelly in the K-Gun offense. Like, they can't be stopped. They can't be stopped. And then the very next series, it's like, oh no, we don't know how to run any of those. They just fall off. I cannot explain how you look so great the first series, and then second and third quarter, it's just like you're begging for like.
Has anybody asked Kevin Stefanski what's the difference when the plays are scripted? Because an offense comes out with a script.
He gives no straight answers, so what's the point? He never gives a straight answer to anything.
Well, then has anybody asked Deshaun? How do you feel different when you have a script versus when things are being sent in on the fly?
Yes, it's a question that should be getting asked.
And if this is my question, I script the whole game then. You know what? This is the only plays we running. We ain't going off this sheet. The Denny's menu is what it is. We scripting 1 through 4 quarters. Okay. And ask Dustin, if that's what he was facing, what would you do? If you had an offense that you knew was so scripted and couldn't adjust or adapt or whatever, wasn't reading how you as a defense were playing, what would you as a defense do?
Well, I mean, it would be very easy to be jumping all over them. I mean, look, you can't script an entire game. You can script 10 plays, because here's the thing. The reason why those 10 plays are so effective is because you have practiced them so many more times than everything else. You can't put the time and effort you put into those 10 plays into 70 plays. It's not realistic, man.
Can you?
And also the game, once you get into a flow of a game, you get off script. By the way things sort of play out. You can't just think in your mind, well, I'm going to do this all of a sudden. Wow, things just changed on a dime. A turnover happened. Now we got a short field or a sudden change situation. Now maybe you want to take a shot instead of running on that first down. All kinds of things could happen.
Is that a skill set?
What do you mean?
Calling plays off script. Is that a skill set coaches have? Like where?
Oh yeah.
Hey, when it gets, I know how to dial it up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, let's leave it here for now because we got to run. Aditi, thanks for joining us as always. We will talk.
Thanks
to you
for
next
having
week.
me.
You got
All
it.
right, sounds great, guys.
She was just about to co-sign everything I said.
I know.
Look, she was ready to go.
We'll talk next week, Steve. Don't be eating the ham in the grocery store, okay? Don't be eating the ham before you pay for it.
Listen, I need a piece of that. I need, let me taste that. Go ahead.
Just as we say goodbye, I watched every hit you had on during the game. Thought you were fantastic. You're my favorite.
Dustin, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Like I said, flattery will get you everywhere.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. All right, there's Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Aditi.
Good to chat with her as always. Mary Kay Cabot coming up in about 10 minutes.
We got one thing we got to squeeze in before we get to Mary Kay. Quick reminder, you can text the number on the bottom of your screen if you want to sign up for the UCSS newsletter. It comes out every Monday, has some exclusive content, including a brand new top 5. And shout out to DeAndre Black for being our Coaches Tier Member of the Week. We do that every week. Make sure you sign up by texting the number you see on the screen. Bull, this came up yesterday. It really it irked you. Steve, you want to take tag word for? I want to read something that Mary Kay tweeted yesterday. Jerry Jeudy said he'll run more this week to make sure he's not tired on some plays like he was in the loss to the Raiders.
Okay.
Bull,
Go ahead.
you can start.
No, I want Dustin to start because he just reacted to it. So go ahead.
I just want to be nice.
Yeah.
I want to be nice. Like,
Gotta respect the players.
I do respect the players. I do. You can't say that. You just can't say that. What are you thinking? Like, I didn't actually hear the clip, so that could be, I don't know all the context of it, but I'm just like, I talked to some people about this. Dude, what are you doing? You can't tell people you just signed this $30 million contract and you're not in shape. It's week 4. What are we doing? Dude. And by the way, even if that's the case, why would you tell them?
Yeah, that's really stupid.
And it's also an indictment on the organization too.
100%.
Because if you've got players that are not in shape and you took them to Greenbrier and you didn't play them in the preseason and you got guys, it's October.
Yeah, there's no excuse for this.
I put up my Halloween decorations. You're not in shape.
That's right, guys.
You're supposed to get do you know in practice you get 5 or 6 plays in a row? Like you get 5 plays.
Isn't that place climate controlled?
This is
Isn't that stadium 68 degrees?
It's kind of shocking. It is.
I told you. Listen.
They let you know what? They not I don't think they you know what I think?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I could be completely wrong on this.
Go ahead.
I don't think they put the hammer down. Pause. I don't think they just tough on them like they used to. I think they had some success last year that they kind of eased off the gas a little bit because that wasn't the case last year. Now I know he wasn't here last year, but that wasn't the case last year. I don't understand. What are y'all doing? What are y'all taking plays off in practice? Are y'all not taking reps? To me, to me, you're supposed to get yourself in game shape through practice. Like, if you know what you got to do, you know you've been playing this game for quite some time. You know what it takes to get yourself ready for the game.
Yeah, if you're not ready,
know a guy. Listen to me. I'll give you an example. I know it when I was in Seattle, right? I was running with the 3s. Then I got bumped up to the 2s.
the 3 life.
Yeah, you get like 2 reps. So I was with the 3s, but then I bumped up to the 2s for a week, right? And during the preseason, you know, you get your reps. 1s, 2s, 3s. Obviously, when the season comes, it's 1s, 2s. That's it. Mm-hmm. So one of these, I was backing up Earl Thomas. Earl in the preseason, I come jogging out. Earl will be like, go ahead, get yours. Once that season came around, the coach will be like, go get Earl. I go run out there and get Earl, he'll do this. Because Earl knew that he needed to take every rep to be ready for the game because he wanted to be in shape for it. He wanted to see everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you're a professional and you don't know what you need to do to get ready for a game. Like, he's right. I would have never said that. I would have never said I was tight. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that you run a 80-yard fade route or something like that. And then
like after Mark Cooper ran that long touchdown.
He's definitely tired. Get him out. Get him out.
Give me some water.
But if you're talking about like you ran like a 15-yard dig or something like that, are you tired and you can't get up and do the next? Like that's.
It's just on you, man. Like if you're not, you know if you're in shape or not. I know if I'm in shape or not.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, like guys stayed after practice and would run half gassers to just make sure they got the extra work in. If the coaches, sometimes practices are easy. You know, and you're like,
and that's what I'm asking.
I really barely broke a sweat today.
I wonder if that's what's going on. Like, did y'all
Camp
Cupcake?
That's what's right. I think that's what it is. That's the only logical explanation because it's not just him; it's the defense as well. Like everybody's not what they were last year, and it's like they let off the gas.
I told you they're all out of shape and overweight. DeJuan Jones 400 plus. Right. Jed Wills and Concrete couldn't even be out there because they can't breathe. They haven't done anything. Myles Garrett was tired the first game.
We need like permanent oxygen masks on these guys.
Well, guess what? If I'm Kevin and I seen this comment, you know what I'm doing?
It's too late.
Well, before we start practice, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to do.
It's too late.
Everybody get on the line. We're going to make sure that everybody is not tired for this game.
It's too late.
You can't catch up. Yes, you can.
Nah,
yes, you can.
You can't catch up. You can't catch up. When you listen, either you getting better or you getting worse. And right now, you got guys that can't block and sustain. Joe Batonio looks 20 pounds heavier. These dudes, why you think they're out?
Joel always looked 20 pounds heavier.
But here's the point, though. Why Amari? This is when you look at the totality of it. This guy don't look the same. No, Amari Cooper looks slow. You said it the first week. Jerry Jeudy just came out and said, I need to get him in shape so I can run more routes. You already know what DeJuan Jones and Jed Wills look like. The rest of the defensive line, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, all them guys up front, guess what? No one's making no plays. Martin Emerson looks like he's running with a refrigerator on his back.
You know, let's go to Mikey here for a second.
I just want to give one tiny ounce of context to everything. There were 59 offensive snaps against the Raiders. Judy played in 51, so 86%. Just want to give that.
Travis Hunter plays in 100 snaps. Travis Hunter plays 120 snaps at Colorado with nothing.
And not to mention, Mike, he gets to sit the entire time.
I just wanted to give the context.
120.
This comment by Jerry Jeudy sums up this whole sad sack team right now.
Come on, man.
It really does.
They're a bunch of front runners, man.
They read their press clippings.
Yes, they did.
They decided they'd arrived. And they are the softest team right now in the NFL.
You know why?
On both sides of the ball.
Like I said, I blame it's the coaches and the players on this one. You know what happened? I think they had some success last year, and Kevin and the rest of that coaching staff, once you establish yourself, you tend to give player a little leeway. You tend to be like, I'm going to trust you to do what you're supposed to do. And the problem is it's blowing up in their face. They didn't. They like, oh, well, you know what, I'll be fine. I ain't got to do that stuff no more. I'll be good.
You know how, like, you were in school and you'd have a substitute teacher, and then some of the substitute teachers were hard asses, and they would yell at you, or they would make you, whatever. They make you do work. And then there was some of the subs that would be like just hanging out, right?
Yeah, rolling the TV.
Yes, sir.
And what happens is when you have the sub that just rolls out the TV, eventually, as a kid, you push it further.
For sure.
Like, I'm going to start talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to yell. I'm going to make out with my girlfriend. I don't know, whatever the hell you're going to do. That's what's happened. And Stefanski shouldn't be a substitute teacher, but that's what he is. He is a soft touch. He doesn't have Bill Callahan to balance out with a little toughness here. So the offense, there's no toughness whatsoever. I mean, who are the rest of the coaches? What the hell are
I
these
think
guys doing?
Stefanski's a really smart football coach. I think he's very, very likable by everybody.
Absolutely.
His players love him.
Yeah.
But I don't think the players have a reverence of him.
No, there's no fear.
There's no.
If Jim Tressel told you to do something, what was you gonna do?
There's a reason I never went to a party in college. I was scared to death of Jim Tressel.
Hey, Urban Meyer, if Urban Meyer caught you doing something, what we looking like?
I'm not afraid of Urban.
Okay. But everybody else was. Listen, he used to go to practice. He used to be at practice.
Wasn't.
Listen.
Not afraid of Urban. I'm a pro.
Hey,
I was going to do it because that's what I'm supposed to do.
But no, there are certain coaches you don't want no smoke. You like, bro, I'm just trying to do my stuff today.
Do you know how scared I was of Mike Tomlin? Dude would come in to the meet. He was defensive coordinator. Come into the meetings, and he'd put on tape, and he would literally get there with the laser, and he would just point out guys loafing. Like, dude, we were scared to death.
That's what Coach Fick used to do that.
There's
Look at this. Look at
nothing-
this.
yeah.
Look
Nothing
at
worse
this dude right here.
than being embarrassed in front of your peers.
It is.
And you know what a loaf and the definition, I don't know if they taught like this. Hey, any change in speed.
Change the speed loaf.
Any
Change
in
the speed, yeah.
I don't care if you're trotting it out. Like, ain't no trotted out the last 2 steps. That's a loaf. I'm marking you down.
Yeah, backside corner, jog, and then all of a sudden he breaks out and you change the speed.
That's a loaf.
Yeah.
It's a loaf. You have lots of loafs. I mean, you could have a turn it down loaf. Would you mean you turn down a
Oh,
hit?
that's the worst one. That's the worst one. That's the
You
worst.
make a business.
You get that.
That
You got look. You know you got to sit back in the chair with that hood up.
And you know when you do it in the game, you tell your people, oh, they gonna get me on film.
The problem is,
That's why I said I would never. I never did that.
It's not like a team meeting.
To turn it down low, you can. I don't care if you're scared to death. You run straight through it and just shoot your shot.
I remember when I was a kid, and there was this. I had this baseball book, and there was a really cool chapter about all these baseball players from the '70s and the job that they had in the off season. Because whether you played football, baseball, whatever in the '70s and the '60s, you had to have another job because you weren't making that much money, and you didn't get paid in the off season. And now guys make so much money, which I don't begrudge at all. But your job is to be in shape. That's it. Meanwhile, half the Browns roster is on the Adam the Bull diet. See it, eat it. I mean, that's what they're doing.
I would love to know what they're running.
Well, you said you about to be a right guard.
I could. I mean, I get killed.
I would like to. I would really like to.
It's
know
an
what their
attitude
running
thing,
test is,
boy.
Right.
The conditioning test.
they don't have one. Because of the conditioning test.
They don't have one.
Some people don't have one.
Dude,
Listen, when I played for Seattle, we didn't have a conditioning test. When I went to San Fran, it was like 12 or 15 half gassers.
we had 20.
Yeah. Some
20 in
teams.
We had
Minnesota.
22 110s.
Yeah.
110s are easy though.
No, yeah, because you ain't got that turn. That
got
turn,
that cut, man.
that turn on that half, man, I swear.
Mary Kay, we'll see how many gassers Mary Kay could do. Go ahead.
Let's bring Mary Kay in after a quick word from FanDuel. Hey, NFL
What's
fans,
our
you can
recovery
start the
time?
season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get in a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more right on the same page where you can place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And we welcome in Mary Kay. Mary Kay, we were just discussing your tweet, which had the Jerry Jeudy comment from yesterday. Could you?
Maybe Mary Kay could do
give us a
Jerry
little more-
Jeudy a favor and bring. Sorry, Mike. Maybe Mary Kay, you could bring him a pillow because he's so tired.
He's a hard sleeper, just like Justin Gilbert.
That's right. Forgot about that.
Man.
What did you think when you heard you heard that, Mary Kay?
Well, I asked the question, so I feel
Yeah.
responsible for this whole thing. But I was just trying to, he was talking about everyone has to do their job. Every single person on the team has to do something. So I just wanted to ask him, what are you going to do this week when you look in the mirror and try to figure out what you need to do, what you can do better? And he offered up that, that he believes that he can work on his conditioning a little bit. And I'm going to give him a hall pass on this because he's had an injured knee. He has not been himself really yet. The Browns are lucky that they have him out there playing as well as they do, because he hurt his knee in OTAs and he did not practice much throughout all of training camp. And I think that it takes a while. You can see there he's got the sleeve on the knee, and it takes a while to get back into the kind of conditioning that you need to be able to play at the speed and the intensity that you need to play in every single game. And I don't think he was saying, oh, I was gassed the whole game. He had a pretty good game. I think he was just offering up one small thing that he can do to do his part. And I thought I appreciated that he gave me something, because most guys, probably wouldn't tell you exactly what they're going to do, but he was honest about it. And I don't fault him for that at all. Again, when you cover the team on a daily basis, things about things like the fact that he hasn't been able to practice as much. And so I have a different perspective on it. I do not fault him at all for saying that. I fault him for saying that he needs to work on his conditioning a little bit.
Mary Kay, do you know what's the status on Nick Chubb? I know that they've opened up his window, and I seen David Njoku on Instagram hugging him today while they was walking down the hall. So is he beginning practice today, and what's the status on him?
Well, they don't practice today. Tuesday Tuesday is their off day, but he will have that window opening tomorrow, and he will be out there practicing tomorrow. And I think that's great news for Browns fans to see Nick Chubb out there. In addition to everything he brings on the field, he's just an inspirational leader for everyone. If Nick Chubb can come back from this injury, then so can everybody else come back from theirs, or work a little bit harder, or dig a little bit deeper. So I think it's going to be a boost for the whole entire football team to have him back.
Mary Kay, from my understanding, we were talking about this earlier. Bill Callahan was one of the offensive line coach. He was, run game coordinator, and he worked with the run plays as well. And the Browns have been struggling this year. We looked at it, and I believe the new run coordinator is a first-year coach. How are the Browns divvying up the run responsibilities in the run game now that Bill Callahan isn't there? Is it the offensive line coach? Is it specifically a one guy who's the offensive run coordinator, or is it Stefanski, or is it a collaborative effort? Like, who took over that mantle?
Well, it is a collaborative effort. They do have a run game coordinator, but this is a work in progress right now. I do think that they miss Bill Callahan. How could you not miss Bill Callahan? He is a Hall of Fame offensive line coach. So everything is different on the line. Everything is different when it comes to running the football. And of course, they don't have Nick Chubb and whatnot. But I think that they're going to be okay in that regard. The bigger issues right now are the fact that they've had so many problems on the offensive line with injuries. I mean, think about the fact that your all-pro right guard now is out for at least 4 games, and that's at best. There have been tackle problems. I mean, you guys can see that DeJuan Jones is not himself. He is not playing as well as he did before he suffered the MCL last year. So he really needs to elevate his game, and they have to figure out how they can draw the best out of DeJuan Jones. And then, of course, James Hudson, he's been making his first starts over on the left side. So this week, if they can get Jed Wills back, if they can get Jack Conklin back, and Ethan Posick back, I mean, that's really going to help this football team. I think that's been a major part of the issues so far this season.
A really quick follow-up. You just mentioned, DeJuan Jones. Obviously, the big thing was the missed block when Deshaun Watson and him kind of got into it. Do you have any inside information on the altercation and Jameis Winston? Not saying that there was anything big. Guys get heated on the sidelines a lot. Have you had opportunity to talk to DeJuan Jones and Deshaun about that situation?
Yes, I wrote about that after the game. I talked to all 3 of those guys in the locker room about that heated exchange. So I talked to Deshaun, Jameis, and DeJuan. DeJuan took full responsibility. I asked him, did it have anything to do with the fact you're coming back from this knee injury and you're still struggling? He refused to pin it on that. He said, I just have to play better. I saw him go up into the locker room and shake hands afterwards with Jameis Winston and with Deshaun Watson. And I think the thing to remember about this situation is the fact that, yes, it got heated, but Deshaun and Jameis are trying to hold these guys accountable. Everyone needs to be held to the high standard on this football team this year. And so, yes, it got heated, but as Jameis explained to me, it's all in the spirit of encouragement. They see that DeJuan Jones can be one of the best tackles in the NFL. They need him to play like it, and I think they're just trying to draw it out of him.
Mary Kay, you talk about a high standard. I'm just not seeing that. I've been very disappointed in Kevin Stefanski. The last 2 games, his clock management, his timeout usage has been awful. They're terrible in terms of penalties. Like, they're terrible on third down. They're a terrible tackling team right now. They can't score.
They can't score more than 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, I know they want to be held to a high standard, and I like that, but nobody seems to be being held to a high standard right now. That's how it feels.
Well, I understand that, but I think what everyone needs to look at is right now, if you told anyone that Deshaun Watson would be largely without his top 2 targets for the first 4 games of the season in David Njoku and Amari Cooper, I don't think that you would have thought the Browns were going to have a winning record at that point. Amari Cooper, for whatever reason, has not been consistent. He hasn't been himself. He came back and had one good game, but then in this past game, he made one of the biggest mistakes of the game, not catching that ball that was right there on his chest. And normally he catches that football. So that did not help matters at all there. And then, again, David Njoku has not been out there for the past 3 games. If you go league and you take away the top 2 targets of any quarterback, it's going to be a long road. And then you add to that major offensive line problems, a struggling new offensive scheme that not everybody really is on top of yet. They're still not on the same page with it yet. But I think the takeaway that people should have from this game is the fact that Deshaun Watson played really well. He played really well, and you can't blame this loss on Deshaun Watson. I thought he made some of the best plays that he's made since we've seen him here. And if your quarterback is going right, then your football team has a chance to go right and get it together. And they're going to get David back this week. Some of the tackles might be back, and it's going to look better. He needs more help. The quarterback needs more help, but I think he's showing that he's on top of things. And he's gotten hit 53 times so far in these first 4 games, and he keeps getting up, brushing it off, and going on to the next play.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, the bar has been set so low with Deshaun that we're willing to say that this was like a really good performance, and the reality is the offense scored 10 points. And you know, did he lose the game for the Browns? No, he did not lose the game for the Browns. But if I were to give a nameless, faceless quarterback and show that stat line and said they scored 10 points, you wouldn't be saying the guy played really well. I don't see it.
What would you say if they didn't call Nick Harris for holding and Amari Cooper scored an 82-yard game-winning touchdown?
Yeah, but
but
they did call holding because it was holding.
But they did call it, which they can call it, or they don't have to
because if he doesn't hold the player, then Deshaun's tackled or has pressure on that play.
He still got crushed. He still got crushed on that play.
Right, but he'd have got there early. He got there sooner. I'm just saying you can't just pick and choose what penalty. I'm sorry. I'm not attacking you, certainly. I'm just
saying that we've seen that called and we've seen it not called. We've seen it called and we've seen it not called. And in another moment in time, maybe it doesn't get called, and that's a touchdown pass. And we're saying what a great play that was. And there were other opportunities when DeJuan Jones let the guy blow past him. Cooper was open for a touchdown there. And, there were many times, even that 4th and 3rd play on the 9. I know everybody has a problem with that last play. I'm writing about it right now. As soon as we get off of here, I'm going to go back and write more about it. But even there, the pocket completely collapsed on that. And there was a designed play, and it just didn't go well. When you have Nick Harris in there and Zach Zinter instead of Wyatt Teller and Ethan Posick, these are go as well as you want them to.
But teams have injuries. I mean, the Browns are not the only. I mean, the Chiefs lost their best wide receiver in the beginning of last game. Their starting running back is out for the year or most of the year. and Patrick Mahomes and I don't bring this up really to knock Watson. I just think we're making a lot of excuses for the offense that other teams have also that, you got to find a way.
And, Bull, we didn't play the Ravens and Bills
you're
the last
playing a terrible team without their best players.
The Giants and the Raiders, and the Raiders without their best players.
Well, let's let Mary Kay go, and then we can argue the rest. Mary Kay, thank you. We'll argue with each other here. Coming up next, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mary Kay.
We'll see you later. But yeah, I mean, I don't even. It's not even about Watson necessarily. It's just about the offense. Like
about the team.
There's too many excuses for the offense.
Adam, right now,
Yeah.
is this team winning more than 5 games?
No, I don't think so. Not the way they're playing right now.
I don't see it as an excuse for the offense. It's a reality check.
Well, but Mary Kay said without his top 2 targets, and she included Amari Cooper. No offense, Amari Cooper's here. No, he's not playing well.
Yeah, no, Amari Cooper is playing like crap.
Okay, but so. I mean, you can't.
I
can't say she's without. He's without.
But would we say he played like crap if Harris didn't hold?
I mean,
I'm joking. My point is, he actually made some plays in that game.
He made some plays like the throw in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Like the last drive, he made a play. But here's what I'm saying is, it's not. I think it's 2 different things. When you say they ain't playing well, that's not an excuse. I point out all of them. What I've been trying to get people to do from Jump Street is this. When we half stepping, we say everybody played bad. Nah, there'll be times when Deshaun Watson played bad, and I'll be like, that loss is on freaking Deshaun Watson. Put it up on.
But nobody's putting it on Deshaun Watson this game.
But here's what I'm gonna say though. Yeah. Just because we're not moving it like, well, he didn't have the yardage. And is it worth the 234? Like here's the problem. There's millions of people that are rich and getting paid, and these other quarterbacks are. Everybody's getting $1 million. Everybody's getting $3. I can't sit up here and say
we don't care about other teams.
Yes, we do. We bring them up all the time. We bring it up. Joe Burrow, he make a lot of money. They 1-3. Is it his fault?
No.
Well, okay then.
Are you really gonna?
Okay then. This is wild.
That's just silly.
Garrett, I mean,
Come on.
There's 40 points.
You're comparing Deshaun. Joe Burrow, when he's been healthy, has been good all the time. Deshaun Watson hasn't played well in years.
But we use Deshaun Watson missed the whole year injured, right?
Yeah.
How many games Joe Burrow missed last year? A whole bunch.
Yeah.
But we say injury withdrawn. It's not worth the 234.
Yeah, but wait a second. G, even when Burrow was playing last year and he was hurt for a lot of the year he was playing, he still played way better than Watson played.
What I'm saying to you is, look, every quarterback.
I'm just saying that's a disingenuous comparison.
Every quarterback that starts.
Your point's well served. This is a bad comparison.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Every quarterback that's a starting level quarterback makes at least $25 million a year. 25.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Deshaun Watson at this point is what? The 11th highest paid quarterback?
I don't know.
I think he's 9th.
But he's playing the worst football overall. But he played well this game.
I can go to Kyler Murray.
Trevor Lawrence ain't playing.
Trevor Lawrence is the highest.
Trevor Lawrence sucks.
Okay.
But gee, if we were working in Jacksonville, we'd be killing. But nobody's killing.
But we're not
hold on.
We're not killing nobody.
I'm not killing Deshaun Watson.
I
agree with you. He played well this week. But Mary Kay, I think Mary Kay, to say he hasn't had his 2 best targets is not true.
That was her words, not mine.
I know.
Wait a minute. That's her word.
Gee, you were right. It's 11, by the way. You were right.
11. So here's all I'm saying. Yeah. I believe in team sports, and I hate this more than anything. I hate taking blame off one man and putting it on another man and not saying, you didn't do your job, man. Nick Harris didn't do his job. And just because Nick Harris is a backup and he's not a quarterback, we just, he did a bad job. No, you got us screwed because you held somebody and we completed the pass. Amari Cooper, you get paid $20 million a year. I know it ain't 234 guaranteed, boo.
Yeah.
But you got to catch that rock.
And we've been killing those guys.
No, not enough. Not enough.
He ain't wrong.
The kicker. We're not even talking about that. If you hit your extra point, we kick the field goal to go to overtime. We don't mention this. So I think it's disingenuous to say, I made the play, I threw it to you, it was in your chest, you dropped it. I can't do nothing more about that. So the whole holy grail where the quarterback's the Messiah and walks on water, he can't turn water into wine.
Okay.
You got to do your job.
But then you got to admit that that this offseason, when the only argument people had to defend Watson, like Earl, because Earl used this argument a lot, was his win-loss record, then I don't want to hear that. And that argument's out the window.
Again, that is Earl's record.
But you agree that argument's out the window.
I just had
because Phil Walker is that dude.
No,
that's
Phil Walker
why.
sucks.
Bro, I just had a podcast on Ultimate Browns that told Deshaun Watson that your supporting cast is not good enough for you to be regular. Right?
That's right, yeah.
And people's like, oh my goodness, you're flip-flopping. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what's on the screen that's evident. They don't have the line. They don't have the playmakers. So what he did was, guess what? The things that were in his control, he controlled it. He didn't turn the football over except for the one that wasn't his fault. He did give you a game-winning drive. Somebody got called for holding. He was inside the 20. They snapped the ball when they ain't right. You got to have people doing their job, man.
Hey, listen, I do believe that Deshaun Watson in this game played well enough to win. I don't think he played a great game. I think he played a good game. I think he played well enough to win, and I think the team let him down around him. My point was that let's not. I don't want to hear the injury excuse because every team's got injuries.
And Amari Cooper's playing. I didn't
playing.
get that from Mary
He's
Kay.
not there. And let's not get nuts here. David Njoku is a nice NFL player. That's all he is.
He's not Antonio Gates.
I mean, come on now.
It could be.
Come on now, G.
That ain't.
He's a nice player.
He was trending up.
Again,
It's not like Travis Kelce's out of the lineup.
Bush.
G. Bush didn't say it.
G. Bush speaks for G. Bush.
I hear you. All right, fair enough.
Raul Massenberg, a.k.a. G. That was for
G.
this.
G. Let me wrap this with this one point. I got a bunch of friends that live in Philly who are Eagles fans. If you are a Jalen Hurts supporter, you are in hell right now in Philadelphia. I mean, it is a bloodbath over
How much he get
Hurts and
paid?
Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts is making more money than Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
We talk about Deshaun because we're a Cleveland show.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, they're not talking about Deshaun. They're talking about Jalen Hurts. In Jacksonville, they're talking about Trevor Lawrence, not Deshaun Watson.
If you're not watching the Browns and you just saw Deshaun's stats, you'd say, oh, he didn't have a good game. We're watching the game, so we say, I don't know. Maybe Jalen Hurts is playing better. I don't know. I didn't watch this last game.
Every single one of my friends who's an Eagles fan says trade him, cut him.
Your friends are
What does Steve say on that?
Because I get so tired of. I don't count Tyvus's money. I ain't got nothing to count. I don't count Bulls money, McNuggets, Dustin Fox. I can't count their checks. I can only do what I can do. Baby. And my thing is, there's a bunch. That's the quarterback position. They gonna get that bread regardless. How much money Danny Dimes make?
$40 million this year, and he's getting cut next year.
You don't think in New York?
$40 million.
But gee, you don't think in New York they're not complaining about that?
Oh, Daniel Jones is a walk-in.
You don't think in Philly they're complaining about Hurts' money?
But
you don't think the 82 Jaguars fans out there complaining about Trevor Lawrence's money?
Danny Dimes against Dallas actually played well.
He played pretty good. I like it.
Giants fans hate him and want him out. So
all I'm saying though, all I'm saying is
they always talk about the quarterback.
All I'm saying is, the money aspect of it is irrelevant. I want my quarterback, whether he making 5 cents or $5 billion. I just want you to play good. The money involved is economics. Like, there's a lot of people that make money that don't deserve it. I work with thousands of people in our lives. You'd be like, how the hell you make that much money? I'm telling you. It's not about what you're worth. It's what you can get.
They be stealing.
Most managers are idiots.
They be stealing.
CEOs steal money every day.
And all I wanted was $10 million. That's it. I would have played hard for it.
Brett Favre stole from all the poor people in Missouri, and now we're supposed to feel sorry for him. I don't.
The quarterback gets the credit, and he gets the blame.
It is what it is.
He's got part.
It is what it is. That's why they get the bag.
All right, we're going to move on to our next topic, which this was actually a great segue
so insensitive, Adam.
But first, a quick word from Game Time.
Rolled his eyes at Parkinson? Come on, man.
He's a scumbag, Brett Favre. He stole from people.
Bulls use Game Time.
We know enough.
G's use Game Time. Tyvus has used Game Time. It is the easiest place to get your tickets online. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You also get your priority picks, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app today, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? It's
Game time.
Game time.
All right, Bull. We talked about this yesterday. We're going to draft the 5 best players in the Browns through 4 weeks.
It's not hard. They only have about 7 good players.
We got a bunch of answers online. We're going to do that at the end.
Yeah.
I'll give you their answer to see if it matches your guys' answer. But as a collective group, we're going to come up with who's been the best player,
Deshaun Watson.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So let's start with number 1. Who has been the best player on the Browns through the first 4 games of the season?
Dylan.
No, J.O.K.
Someone tweeted that at me. by the way.
J.O.K.
For real?
Somebody
Somebody.
good
What happened?
It's
a black thing.
yeah, it's a Dave Chappelle thing.
And Dave and Mike knows about it?
It was very
It's
viral.
a Dave Chappelle classic.
Who's the top 5 hottest rappers of all time?
Dylan.
Think about it.
Dylan.
I watched the Chappelle show, but I don't remember
Dylan, because I spit hot fire.
All right, number 1. Who we voting for? I'm going Myles Garrett.
Easy.
Garrett.
All right. Well,
Okay,
not much
easy.
debate there.
And by the way, listen, you know it's crazy? Aditi said, well, maybe because Myles Garrett just doesn't feel right. I'm like, brother, dude, he got, 4 sacks?
He had 2 sacks
He had 2
last
sacks.
game.
He's still their best player.
J.O.K. is
Even
Okay,
injured.
so Miles is 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2.
J.O.K.
J.O.K. Or Denzel.
I don't agree.
I'd say Denzel.
I'm voting Corey Bojorquez.
You might not be wrong.
No, you're actually right. He's a weapon, dude.
He's been great.
He ain't wrong, but I don't know if I put him second.
I ain't going to let you troll them.
I'm not going to let you put him
That
second.
is trolling.
It is, but he ain't. He should be on the list,
It's true
though.
and trolling.
Bull be triggering people. He's
It was like
mastermind.
there was a time
Bojorquez.
years ago. Dustin and I were doing a remote. I don't even remember where we were. I think we were at Panini's.
We were Panini's
in Westlake. And we
How
were
do we
doing,
remember that stuff?
I don't know. I have no idea. We did
jerseys.
Top 5 jerseys you'd want to buy.
slow day,
It was a huge topic. And Phil Dawson.
Joe Thomas, Phil Dawson, Josh Cribbs.
Yeah.
It was all
Phil Dawson
nondescript
was, Yeah,
players.
exactly.
Non-sexy
There was not a
positions.
single skill position guy. That's how sad.
Joe Thomas, Phil Dawson, Josh Cribbs.
And Owen Marisic.
Oh, I definitely.
Oh,
Those are 3 classic
Larry
jerseys.
Pickers.
Marisic, man. That dude,
Yeah.
smart guy, by the
Smart,
way.
yeah.
Got
All
it.
right, so what's the vote?
J.O.K.
You're going JOK?
I'm going to go J.O.K.
I mean, he's certainly top 5.
All right, they're going
you can
JOK.
Twist my arm. I'll
JOK
take
2.
lower, but-
Miles first, JOK 2. Who's number 3?
Denzel Ward.
Bojorquez.
Denzel 3. Who's number 4?
Bojorquez.
Number
Bojorquez.
4. You asked it for 4?
Dude,
Jerry
who's 3?
Judy.
Denzel?
Denzel, yeah.
I thought Grant Delpit been playing well.
Jerry Judy.
It's either Judy or Delpit.
I'm going Bojorquez.
But,
could you say that?
hold on. You're not alone. Wait till you
Yeah.
see the fan answers. You will be supported when the fans chime in.
Despite the missed extra point, I'm going Hopkins 5.
Judy. And I'm going Bojorquez 5.
I'm going to go
1,000%.
Grant Delpit.
Bojorquez is making this list, so it's
Dustin, who
either
you
4
got?
or 5 for me.
Bojorquez.
Bojorquez.
Judy 5.
And number 5.
All right. Number 5. I'm
gotta
going
go-
Hopkins.
I got to.
He's so wrong.
No, listen. You know what? I'm going to shut my mouth till we get to the fans.
Shut-
Charlie
Mouth.
Hewitt.
Charlie Hewitt. That's even worse.
Can you play center?
Who is the random tight ends they got off the street?
Whitewood.
Didn't he
What-
score?
I was going to say, the random white guy that caught the touchdown.
Yeah.
I was like, who's this guy?
Like he snuck in on the friends and family.
I'm
joint.
going Jerry Judy for 5.
I'm gonna go with Judy.
What about Delpit? You dropped
I
off the boat on
put
Delpit.
Delpit.
Drop
Has
it.
he made like a play like that?
Who?
Delpit.
He made some plays in the backfield.
I mean, how sad is it that a guy on pace for 840 yards and 4 touchdowns is the 4th? You want to vote for him as 5th best
He's
player
also
on
out
the
of
team.
shape.
And out of shape, yeah. Who are you voting for 5?
Y'all
Dustin?
wrong.
For 5?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I have no idea. I mean,
No, it's bad.
That's kind of the whole point of this.
It's
Yeah.
so bad.
It's a sad
4
state of
weeks.
affairs.
Dalvin Tomlinson?
Let's run through the fan answers. You guys can
Okay, go ahead.
kind of create this list. Let's see the first. We got a bunch of these, so we'll fly through them. First
Alex
one comes
Wright.
from P. Black Jr., who said Denzel, Miles, Jerry Judy, Grant Delpit, and JOK. Honorable mention to Corey Bojorquez.
Okay.
And let's go to the next one. Mo Bland Redu said Bull, to your point, Bjorquez, no joke. Miles 2, Denzel 3, Hopkins 4, JOK 5. Same
I agree.
5
That would be my top
as-
5. Just
How
in different
Hopkins?
order.
You can't miss extra points, Hopkins. You can't do it.
Next one. We got Mark Anthony Ellison said the
long
long snapper, punter, Miles, JOK, and Ward.
God,
Next.
that's sad.
David Evans Smith says Curie Bjorquez, another first
I
overall
mean, it's
vote.
so pathetic that
Miles,
the punter is in
JOK,
everybody's list,
Delpit,
basically.
D-Hop. Next.
So funny.
11 Bank 75 said Bjorquez, Miles, JOK, Judy, Delpit.
But
Next.
Hawkins has to be on the list.
Your average Browns fan says Miles, Ward, JOK, Judy, Hopkins, and I only included Hopkins to hit 5 players, which is pretty sad.
Nah, but
Next.
Hawkins should be ever ahead of
For
Hopkins.
Orange says Denzel, Miles, Judy, JOK.
It's the same 5
Bjorquez.
guys. You know.
Hold on, we're getting
Yeah.
Xavier P. Our guy says the kicker, the punter, Ward, Miles, and Jordan Hicks. So a little
Jordan
change up.
Hicks.
Jordan Hicks
Next
has done
up,
nothing.
Xavier P.
Browns
Where you been on
Live
that?
says Garrett, JOK, Ward, Judy, Delpit. Next, Autograms Ghost, JOK, Miles,
Batonio.
Judy, Prochet, and Batonio.
Oh, that he definitely
And
must
Prochet?
he definitely ain't watched these games. He on the highlights.
And then the last one we have Judy, Miles, JOK, Ward, and the only answer for Deshaun Watson.
There's one
Which
for Watson.
the big picture of this was, it's really hard to make a list of 5 guys who have played well through 4 games.
Well, I think the most common, obviously Denzel, JOK, Miles, and Bojorquez got the most votes.
That's who we all
And
had.
then the 5th spot is either Hopkins,
Judy.
Delpit, or Judy.
Yeah.
Or the long snapper.
Charlie Hewitt.
We don't even know if he's doing a good job. How do you really know if the long snapper's good?
And Hopkins, you thought I forgot. You called. We had a turnover, and you was offsides that got the turnover deleted against Jacksonville. You're definitely not on the list, buddy.
Who, Hopkins was
Yes,
offside?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, we be forgetting about all the other stuff. We be forgetting.
All right, Hopkins is off the list.
He got to go.
Man, that is sad.
Judy or Dale
Like,
Pitt.
Nobody's playing standout football.
No.
Like nobody is jumping
No.
off the page as being exceptional. Like there's nobody. I mean, yeah, we've got some good guys. Like Miles has moments. Like it's all flashes.
Yeah.
But there's no one consistently playing dominant football, and that's why you're like going to be a 5-12 team.
I think overall Miles, JOK, and Bojorquez are playing good football, and that's about it. Everybody else is average or worse.
I would like to Marion Jones some of these people. I would like to strip their medals. There's 4 weeks left in the season, and I would like to just get real about who's good and who's not. Let's start off with Martin Emerson.
God, dog.
Martin Emerson is a serviceable corner.
Wow.
By no way, shape, or form is he going to be getting paid any big dollars. Tyvis, you know this. Listen, his recovery speed. They had to revert to playing 10 yards off people with no name guys like we didn't even know.
First of all, G, that's not fair. Because,
Why ain't it?
Because, first of all, what I'm about to say is totally against my motto.
Okay.
But it's the truth.
Okay.
And it's not right.
Okay.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
Okay.
It's not okay.
gonna say it
But
anyway.
I'm going to say it
Okay.
as a defense for them.
Okay.
I don't know what he's going through injury-wise.
Oh, okay. So you feel like
Oh, God.
you feel like
I
he done on Madden, he just show up and he's minus 3
I'm
ticks
just
on
saying,
the catches and awareness and the hands.
I don't know, like
what's going on.
yeah.
Have you guys seen anything with
Because
Emerson? Why
I don't
does he suck this
understand
year?
why he wouldn't be pressing. Like he's pressed literally
The-
dang
his
near
whole
every
life.
time he's been out there.
His
He's
life.
always pressed. And now all of a sudden they choose this week to play off.
So against nothing wide receivers.
So I'm thinking to myself, are y'all gassed? Like, because y'all playing so much man, are y'all gassed and he's trying to help y'all out? So y'all playing off? Like, I don't know. But the problem is if you hurt, my motto is if I'm hurt and I can't do what I want to do, I shouldn't be out there.
I think maybe it's that brotherly love. He got Malik Neighbor. He was borrowing a cup of sugar from maybe Malik Neighbors put him on like notice, like, hey, you might want to back up off people. And he was like, you know what? I am slow.
Y'all gotta cut this out because the Malik Neighbors, the worst thing that happens is that he snatched the ball out his hand
in the back of the end zone. That was crazy. Like he was behind him and everything.
in the end zone, it's you're supposed to be between the receiver and the quarterback, so you always play underneath. He got lost on the route at the top of the route. Now that's a problem.
Now here,
that's a problem.
I'm reevaluating. So
but it's always a trail technique in the end zone.
First guy is him. Now second dude, I'm reevaluating. And I would say he was going to play good, but dang, Jerry Jeudy, you just let me find out that you can't run more than 10 plays in a row.
He was hurt. He hasn't been practicing, according to Mary Kay.
I mean, come on.
DeJuan Jones not even starting.
What? If he ain't practicing, how is he gonna be in game shape?
And let me ask you this question.
And I ain't making excuses for him, but that's real.
I'm telling you the truth. This morning, I got breakfast at Taco Bell. All right.
It's the best. Crunch wrap?
And I saw DeJuan Jones go in the line in front of me. He was in the car before.
You being sarcastic, or did you really
ordered 6 AM Crunch Wraps with extra jalapeno sauce? No, he was not.
This is crazy.
Really good one?
Hey,
This
is that the order?
Now,
a Crunch Wrap?
and I want to
No jalapeno, so I don't like the jalapeno.
I want to
You
ask
go
corners.
steak?
I go chicken. I'm sorry. I go.
Wait a minute.
Bacon or
They
steak.
give you Crunch Wrap with meat in it?
Have you had
Pause?
Crunch wrap in the morning?
You gotta have
No, I've
bacon-
never had Taco Bell's
bacon,
breakfast.
sausage,
You're
or
not, you
steak.
haven't lived.
Thursday.
Dude,
Thursday, I'm
Taco Bell's-
getting it.
Taco Bell's breakfast is better than their normal food.
Yeah, much better.
Thursday is happening. I'm coming in here with the Taco
Hey,
Bell
Tyrus, can I
bag.
ask you this question too? Because I really want to know, is Greg Newsome, y'all, I got 2 DBs, is Greg Newsome a starting corner in this league?
I don't know, man. I feel like he doesn't have great confidence right now. And I think he's a really good player. You know, I don't get the sense that he loves that he has to play inside. You know, he's a
But
first
isn't
round.
he better at that?
I'm not saying that he isn't better at it. I feel like the dude was a first round pick. He hasn't played up to that standard, and he's got Denzel Ward to live up to the hype next to him.
Right. You should.
It's unfair comparisons every day.
He should be jumping. If I got Denzel over there, I'm jumping routes. I just feel like, yo, Denzel, I'm getting the second tier.
I think people underestimate the big difference between playing inside and outside. It's 2 totally different worlds. And once you get comfortable being inside and then they ask you to go play outside, it's different because out there is a lot of space. It's a lot of just I'm by myself. In here, it's a couple of things that can happen. You know, you can run into some linebackers. It's a lot of over routes and stuff like that. Out there, they running the whole tree outside. So I think people don't realize unless you've physically been down in there, it's different. It's different.
But Ty, I mean, okay, so just so we're clear, do you think that playing slot is tougher than playing outside, or do you think it's easier?
No, I think outside is harder.
Yeah, I disagree, man. I'm sure you played both. I played both inside, outside. To me, the way I played the game, I prefer, like, on the outside, you at least have leverage. Like, you got the sideline to help you out a little bit if you're in zero coverage. You got all your dudes inside. You got safety help. Like, as a nickel, in most cases, especially if they make you play a little bit off, like, you're giving the guy a two-way go, like, off the rip. You know what I mean? I just think that it's a different skill set to play inside. And you know what? I mean,
you gotta be very quick twitching.
You do. You almost have to be like.
But see, the thing about, to me, why I think inside is not that hard is because even in man, you get a leverage, outside leverage. You got hole help. You got a robber on the inside. So if he runs an over route, their safety or their hole help should be there, at least buy you time.
Well,
when it's on the outside, if it's man, they ain't helping you.
The other thing there too with the nickel, you got to be good in run support.
Yes, you got to be physical.
And that's not everyone wants to tackle.
Well, he said he didn't want to do that. That was the problem with Joe Woods.
So what I'm learning to ask the questions and let them deliberate. So what you saying to me, because you didn't answer the question, I said he's a starting corner. I didn't hear nobody say he's definitely a starting corner.
Yeah, but he hasn't really been given that opportunity. And
he only played outside 1 year.
Since Martin has played so well as a young player, it makes it very But I mean, he has played well. You would agree to this point.
Yes.
Your first round pick, the 4th round came in and got it from jump.
This is what I will tell you. Remember in the offseason, there was a whole bunch of talk about trading G-New, because everybody was ready for Cam Mitchell. Like, we got Cam Mitchell.
Oh, no.
No. And me and Jason was like, I gotta see it. I gotta see it another year.
He's Mr. Slot Fade. Like,
I think I'd rather keep G-New.
Now, here's what all I'm saying is this. we talk about these lists, and I was getting somewhere with it. Where's the impact players? First round pick corner, you expect it to be impact, right? Where we've never gotten anything on the opposite of Myles Garrett. Zadarius Smith is on a milk carton somewhere. This guy is finished. Like, he cut his hair, it was done. They should have revoked. I should have knew something when he cut his hair. It was done. Like, think about it. Where's Obo Akaranko? Where is he at? We got a bunch of
How many
Jags.
sacks do we have outside of Miles?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Alex Wright's got one.
Does anybody else got any?
You got
like at the edge, not D tackle, at the edge.
You got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and JOK and Delpit sometimes. In a hand of spades, that's 3 and a possible, Tyvis.
Yeah.
You going board.
You get.
Yeah, just so you know, Zadarius technically has 2 sacks. Alex Wright has the safety, and Ogbo has the sack from the defensive end position.
Say that one more time.
So Miles has 4, Zadarius has 2, Alex Wright has 1, and Ogbo has 1.
Zadarius got
Alex
2?
has 2? Where
I didn't
Now
see that.
his sacks, one against Daniel Jones was when Jones was scrambling
And he slipped?
up, and he got him right at the line of scrimmage. It wasn't a
Right,
sack.
half
I
yard.
don't remember the other sack. I'll be honest.
Tomlin has one. Did you say that?
I
He said just
I
the
said
defensive
Tomlinson.
end.
Excuse
I was
me.
saying
just
just
on the
edge.
outside.
And it don't help that y'all gave up. They had 2 starting rookie guards, and they gave up 150 some odd yards on the ground.
Tripled their average.
It's a lot of guys. Listen, we say who's been in the top 5. I'm questioning talent level at a lot of positions. I just am. Oh, and I thought.
By the way, did we overestimate how good this roster is?
Yep.
I think that is the
I've
case.
asked that question like
Yep.
7
We'll
times.
talk more about that
Yes, we did.
down the line. Let's switch gears here, Mike.
Yeah, we're going to get to a little Guardians talk bowl. And this morning, you and Zach did an Ultimate Guardians show previewing the Guardians playoff chances and all the above. So make sure you guys check it out. It's on our YouTube page. It went for about 40 minutes, give or take.
I watched that this morning.
So if this is not enough Guardians talk for you the next 10 minutes, then you have an extra 40 minutes on our YouTube page to check out. Zach and Bull is by far the best Guardians podcast in the city. So make sure y'all check it out.
And we'll be on Friday morning to preview their series against either Detroit or Houston. And then they'll play their first game on Saturday. If they play an afternoon game, we'll be on that evening. If they play a night game,
When's
we'll be
game 2?
on
Monday?
Next morning.
Monday's game 2?
Second game is Monday, yes. So the Guardians don't go on the road till next Wednesday. And in their first round series, they'll have a big advantage of the fact that the only back-to-back games in that series are games 3 and 4. So you could really use the bullpen to the extreme level in that series. They'll play, as I said, either the Tigers or Astros. That series, what time does that game start? 1 o'clock? 2 o'clock?
Today?
You said this weekend on Saturday?
No, today.
That starts today.
Oh, today.
Tigers play the Astros.
They start at 2:30.
Yeah, you're right.
2:30.
2:30
is the first game.
You got all day games. You got a 4:30 game and a 5:20 game.
Who you want to win?
Well, there's one night game. There's 4 games.
You have
8:30,
3-day
yeah.
games.
You rather them play the Tigers than the Astros?
I've been going back and forth on this because the Astros are the experienced
I want
playoff
no
team.
parts of the Astros.
They're the experienced playoff
There's
team.
not a player on the Guardians that has any fear for the Detroit Tigers.
I don't think the Guardians have fear of either team, honestly, even though the Astros have beaten them. This is not the same Astros team as in the past. Justin Verlander's, I don't even know if he's going to pitch in this series.
Yeah,
he's not, that they don't have, when they beat the Guardians, in 17, 18, like they had Verlander, they had Cole, these guys were in their prime. Like obviously Cole's not there, Verlander's not there. And Alex Bregman's not the player he was. They don't have George Springer anymore. They don't have Carlos Correa anymore. They do have Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, who are really good, and Altuve's still really good. The thing about the Tigers, though, is they're the hottest team in baseball. That's number one. And there's something to be said for that, the momentum.
Right time, they're peaking.
And they've got the best pitcher in baseball in Tarek Skubal.
Who's going today, by the way?
He's going today, which means he will pitch game 2 on Monday next week against the Guardians. And if there is a game 5, because of all the days off, he'll be able to start game 5. So
2 starts.
You don't want to be going to a game 5 against Tarek Skubal.
Who's their second best pitcher?
Well, they don't really have one. So
they got rid of the dude that went to the
they traded
Dodgers.
John Flaherty because they
Flaherty.
were Jack Flaherty because they were selling. They were sellers at the trade deadline. What they've done down the stretch, and this last month they were the best team in baseball. What they did down the stretch is they brought up all these young pitchers who nobody has heard of, even Tiger fans. And Ty Madden, Brant Herter, all these guys, doesn't matter. And they've been using openers for almost every game that Skubal doesn't pitch. And all these guys have pitched well. So there's no big names. There's no clear number 2 starter, but everybody's pitching well for Detroit. it's despite that, in the end, the more I thought about it, I'd still rather play the Tigers. But I would have rather played the Royals or the Orioles than the Tigers or the Astros.
Yeah.
Because the Astros you worried about for experience, and the Tigers being hot and having that great number one starter.
I think, Bull, and I know you say there ain't no must win, but guess what? I don't care what nobody says. It's a must win game one. Guardians cannot lose. Guardians cannot lose at home game one and start messing around with schoolboy in game two.
Yeah.
It's
they
done.
need to take
The
care-
Tigers
care-
still got to beat the Astros before we get to that
But
scenario.
whoever they playing, Guardians got to win the first game.
Very, very important to win that first game, no doubt about it. It's a short series. It's only a 5-game series.
Got to.
But listen, baseball is the hardest sport to predict in the playoffs. It's a complete crapshoot. You could tell me the Guardians are going to lose their first round series in 3 games. I'd say okay, maybe. You could tell me they're going to win the World Series. I'd say okay. I mean, there's no result for the Guardians that would shock me. I do expect them to win in the first round. I think they can go on a run. They have advantages at bullpen, base running, fielding over any other team. They're the best team in baseball in those 3 areas.
But you gotta get on base to base run. That's the scary part for me.
That's fair, but this is a better offensive. Like in 2022, when they made the playoffs, remember they beat Tampa, and then they blew a 2-1 lead to the Yankees and lost in 5. That team had no power, right?
0.
That team was bottom of the barrel in home runs. They got on base, but they had no power. This team has power. They're not elite power team, but they finished 12th to 13th in home runs. Good job, Tyvis.
Thank you.
And so they have some power. That's the big difference between the teams the last 2 years and this year. They can hit some home runs, and they're unlike some of these other teams right now. They're very healthy. Everybody, obviously Bieber's been out the whole year, but outside of that, I mean, the team's completely healthy.
Are you worried about this? We've heard you and Jay talked about Stephen Vogt and how he's made some errors here and there. Are you worried about first-time manager, playoffs, not pulling the right strings in the playoffs?
Not really. I mean, if you play the Astros, their manager, they have a new manager. It's, he's a new manager. It's his first time. And, Tigers have A.J. Hinch, who's a veteran manager, but he hasn't been in the playoffs with the Tigers. Stephen Vogt's done a good job. And they're going to have a game plan going in. The front office is going to be involved in that game plan.
That's always funny to say.
That's the way it works.
So hold on. I don't understand. Yeah. What do you mean the front office has a game plan?
I mean, they have a game plan in terms of how many times are we going to allow our starting pitcher to face the lineup, right? Like, that's it.
That's a front office thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way baseball has gone. I
didn't
love
know
it.
that.
That's how it works now.
This is
how it works.
No other sports like this.
This is news to me, Tyler. I never knew that.
So how?
It depends. Not every team does it as strictly as others.
So realistically,
there is some gut involved in these decisions, but there is a game plan going in.
Realistically, how many innings does a starting pitcher pitch in the playoffs?
I mean, it depends on the pitcher. You look at the Kansas City Royals; the rosters are 26, right? In the last month of the season, they're 28, but now they go back to 26 for the playoff. Most teams in the regular season, when it was 26, almost every team carried 13 pitchers and 13 hitters. Right. Very few exceptions. Pretty much every team was 13 and 13. The Royals, for example, their series that starts today against Baltimore, now it's only a 3-game series, so that factors in. They're only using 11 pitchers and 15 hitters. Why? Well, the Royals, more than any other team in the playoffs, rely on their starting pitching. So they're going to go, Cole Reagans is going to start for them today, and then Seth Lugo's going to pitch for them tomorrow. Those guys have pitched as many innings as anybody in baseball. So they'll let those guys go through a lineup 3 times, which means they can get to the 6th, 7th, or if they're pitching really great, even deeper than that. Whereas the Guardians, I'd be shocked, outside of Bybee, if any of their starting pitchers face a lineup more than 2 times. And some of their starters, they're not even going to face them twice. And what I think the Guardians are going to do, and I think it's smart, is they're going to use openers when Bybee's not pitching. So the Guardians have the best bullpen, right? They got 6-7 guys that are dominating in their pen. So if I'm facing the Astros and their best hitters are 1 through 4, well, maybe I'm going to take Tim Herron, for example. Let's say I'm facing a team that has a bunch of left-handed hitters. The Tigers, for example, have a bunch of left-handed hitters at the top of their lineup. Well, maybe I'll pitch Tim Herron in the first inning to get those lefties out. And then as soon as I'm through with those lefties, now I'm going to bring in Gavin Williams or Alex Cobb or whoever, Ben Lively, and now they're starting against the 5-hitter, and now I can have him face 14 batters maybe instead of, well, I got to get him out before the second time, or this way he doesn't have to face the top of the lineup twice. He only has to face the top of the lineup once.
I got you.
These are all the little things that these teams
and
are
that's
working
what you
on.
think. That's what the Guardians are going to do?
I think they will use an opener. I think there will be games in this playoffs, I think, where the Guardians might just use the bullpen for the whole game. We're going to see it. Look at their rotation. Outside of Bybee, there's a lot of question marks. Williams hasn't pitched well. Cobb hasn't pitched well in these last couple of starts. I'm not Cobb. Boyd.
Yeah.
Cobb has pitched 16 innings all season.
That's crazy.
Now, they're supposedly going to use him. Zach told me today they think he's going to start one of these games. But if he gets into any trouble, like I could see a scenario where Alex Cobb allows the bases loaded in the first inning. They take him out in the first inning. Because you can't be patient when it's a 5-game series. It's so weird. Baseball, more than any other sport, right? It's a marathon. The whole season is a marathon. Whereas football is always a sprint. It's always, because every game means everything.
Yeah.
Baseball, regular season, marathon. Playoffs.
You're saying that every game doesn't matter, Adam?
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying you got to pace yourself.
He will always say that. It's meaningless.
Well, no, the NBA.
The first games is meaningless in the MLB.
I don't know. I don't think it's meaningless.
I think that in baseball, every game, obviously it's important because at the end of the year, it comes down to like 2 games sometimes.
I mean, the Diamondbacks lost out of the playoffs to 1 game.
Yeah, I saw that. That's my point. But in the moment, you can't act like it's a football game.
No, you can't manage every game like it's the
right,
like
because everyone's got to manage those 162.
Right, but once you get to the playoffs, then it changes.
Right.
Now it's a sprint. Now every decision you make could cost you the playoffs.
Are you worried about Vogt, first-time manager?
No, I'm not. I'm not worried about Vogt. Only thing I'm worried about with the Guardians a little bit is a week off. Especially because now they got rained out on Sunday.
Didn't they come out of the All-Star break crappy?
Yep.
Yeah,
They did,
but
yeah.
they had not been playing well before the All-Star break for a couple of weeks.
You know why you shouldn't be worried about that?
What?
Because they got this dude that they better keep in the lineup. He goes by the name of Big Christmas.
I knew you were going to say that.
Is he your X factor? Speaking of which,
We'll hold that till tomorrow.
we're holding that till tomorrow.
I won't be here. I won't be here
so-
tomorrow.
Well,
so
let Tyvus give his X factor.
it's a blasphemous question. It's Big Christmas. I mean, come on now. Seriously, you talk about a guy that can completely change the whole outcome of a game with just one moonshot. Boom. Easily. But if I
He's
want
only going to play against lefties.
I know, but to be fair, to be honest,
Yeah.
I actually was going to go with Rocchio. Because he's come through in big moments this season,
right.
and what's bigger than the playoffs?
So we're doing this X Factor tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow because
tomorrow
we
we
got
don't
7 super chats, and if we
But
start,
Rocchio was my
hold my thoughts.
honest answer.
By the way, did you guys see that first game of the Mets-Braves doubleheader, how that went?
Yeah, Lindor sent
first
them
off, it was
to the
3-0.
Yeah.
I may have had a wager on the under, which
okay.
sucked. But
Yeah, that went
they
by.
scored
by the
like
way.
9 runs in 2 innings. Yeah,
It was crazy. And Lindor getting the game-winning home run in the top of the ninth.
Those pitchers, I mean, they were just mowing them down.
I know.
The Raiders
starters are great.
The Raiders have begun opening up discussions to trade Devontae Adams. Just want to put that out.
Yeah, it's funny. We had on, who's the guy from the Raiders that we had on a couple of weeks ago? Or this
Young
week?
Q. Or
Your boy Q.
I was like,
Boy,
is
Q.
Devontae Adams unhappy? Because I've heard he's unhappy, and he said he wasn't. Well, clearly he is.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Because why? I mean, they're 2-2. Why would they be trying to trade him if he wasn't unhappy?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
We got a bunch of super chats.
yeah.
So first one comes from Mr. I Crappin' Shits. What a great segue from bidets to a team playing like crap. That was in the opening part of the discussion.
fair.
And that's ironic coming from
What's his
Mr. I
name?
Crappin' Shits.
I crap and shit.
I love it.
M. Vine says, I agree with G. Bush. This team does not play complementary football. Deshaun played well enough to win. The rest of the team did not. The drops, the penalties, etc., it all cost us. Vernell Jackson said the common denominator of this trash offense is Kevin Stefanski.
Well,
Common denominator for what? For this year?
in general.
He's just talking about in general the offense's like struggles.
It's blah. It's like, man.
It's meh.
That's
He's
not
not
true. Last year, the offense was fine, wasn't
Well, I
it?
think we're talking about this year.
I mean,
But then he's not the only common denominator.
I mean, you got to think about it like this, man. I judge offenses on what does your offense look when you're playing good teams.
Well, we ain't played
We
one.
played one last year in the playoffs.
I know Dallas is off to a bad start, but I don't think they're a bad team.
I mean,
No, we got destroyed by them.
I've never once in the whole time Kevin Stefanski's been here been like, this is such an explosive offensive attack.
All I know is you're in trouble when you play the Ravens.
The way they're playing right now.
They
sure.
better be. They better.
I mean,
become
with-
a
They're in
physical
trouble playing
team.
Washington.
Oh yeah,
They
for
better.
sure.
They better be physical. That was the thing about that defense last year. Like
Yeah.
they was physical.
Yeah, and they're not.
And,
I
and
think-
right now they're not.
I think what's been proven to us guys is that no matter who they play at this point, you better be worried.
That's all right. I mean, they've just lost to two teams that I don't think are very good. So, by the way, as you know, completion percentages. Jared Goff yesterday,
He won
18,
100%.
first quarterback of most completions for 100% completion rate game.
You've been seeing that a lot, bro.
High numbers.
It's impressive though. I mean,
Wasn't you the one that said that Jared Goff was likely to win the Super Bowl?
Right.
First quarterback that didn't win one to win one?
Yeah, that's right. And
We did
people,
over
you
the
guys
summer.
were scoffing at me for that. not that he's won the Super Bowl.
you've come around, Goff, because you used to be
I-
very down on him, and,
I-
you thought that was a dumb trade. But it's turned out to be well.
I've
They haven't won a
totally
Super Bowl
changed my
yet.
opinion on Goff since going
I
to
think
Detroit.
everybody did.
He's great.
What about Sam Darnold?
He's got to do it longer.
Yeah, I mean, like he's kind of like Geno to me.
He's the only quarterback
He's done
out
it
of that-
earlier.
Yeah.
Only
Then
quarterback
Geno
out of
did.
that class to go to the Super Bowl. So
So so there's a change of heart on Geno Smith, Baker.
There's no change of heart in Geno Smith with me.
He always liked Geno.
I remember you being on the
But
radio.
Geno,
There's a hill that I will die on. and
there's a
it's-
big. Jared Goff
will
is
die
a
on it.
class better than Geno.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Slight resurgence.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Three more. Vernell Jackson says Ryan Day gave up play calling, and he's been effective.
I mean, Ryan Day's playing the Sisters of the Poor. Who we kidding?
Doesn't it feel like the season hasn't started yet?
I mean, give me a
that's how
break.
everybody.
Ohio State playing the
I want to
Mac, that Mac North conference.
listen, these guys have an Ohio State show, and if you love Ohio State football, you watch it, it's great.
But what
I
else?
have zero interest in watching any Ohio State games until they play a real team.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Zero.
Oregon game,
so
2
Oregon?
weeks. 2 weeks.
I'll watch that game.
Shout out
Oh.
to Chip Kelly. He didn't really change his philosophy. I like what I see.
Jeremiah
Running the
Smith.
ball.
Jeremiah Smith?
Legit.
Yeah. Him and the dude from Bama, the freshman.
Ryan
Williams.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
these
That
dudes-
dude put him in the Matrix, man.
I don't know how you 17 doing all that.
That's what I said.
Check his-
17.
check
By the
his
way,
birth
Shador
certificate.
Sanders is playing both ways.
No, Shiloh.
Shiloh.
Travis Hunter, the only one playing.
Well,
both
Travis Hunter plays
Oh.
both ways.
Oh,
Shiloh plays safety.
What-
Shador
okay, I
plays
missed that.
What
quarterback.
position would Shador play on defense?
Safety.
Defensive end.
what do we think? Quickly, is he going to be a good NFL quarterback?
Yeah, he's got a
think so.
chance.
He's good.
He's got a chance. He's got
How
size.
tall is he?
He's tall.
He's big.
taller than you think.
He's 6'4".
Is he 6'4"?
Yeah,
He's
he's
like
a
6'2".
big dude,
He
man.
can sling it. He can
And
sling
he's
it.
got a hell of an arm.
But that dude Travis Hunter is different. I'd trade all my picks for him.
That guy is going to be
What do you think he is?
special.
Ricky Williams?
Man, all of them.
I
First,
think- I
you
think
Mike
he's-
Ditka? You gonna
Yeah.
trade?
First and
You can
sixth.
take all these
No,
picks.
you know who he is? He's his coach.
man, this dude
Yeah.
is jumping. How you jump routes in zone coverage?
laid out for it.
That's
too.
crazy. How you
out.
read?
Then
You
he
in zone
went
like, yeah, I know I got the deep third,
Then he
but
went
who
to
cares? That's
Heisman.
awesome. That's
We got
wild.
Two more
Two more.
super
Go
chats
ahead,
here.
Mike.
M. Bine says the Browns chose to keep people healthy prior to the season instead of getting them ready, and this is the result of Camp Cupcake. That's
Yep.
what he called it.
I agree.
Yeah,
Let's also not make it seem like the Browns are the only team that does Camp Cupcake. Half the league does.
But this was a super fluffy cupcake. This was a
It
nothing
was.
but cake. This was, by the way,
Those are
Fire!
Shout out Kenny
Shout out to
Kenny
Fire!
Peterson.
Oh,
Shout out.
God, change
Why, he's
your
got-
life.
Nothing
boy.
but cake.
2 franchises.
Man, that icing is different.
Man, I'm about to go to Columbus and get one on the way to work.
Last one comes from JV from Clee. Can we talk about how bad the offensive scheme is after the first scripted drive by Stefanski? It was an issue before Flacco as well. I actually have one of my 5 stats of the week on that.
I think
poll.
we've
If you-
talked about that plenty. How
Yes.
You want the
Ad nauseam.
you want the stat on this? We'll
Yeah.
still do this in 5 stats in the
Yeah.
week, but the Browns this season, let me pull it up real quick. The Browns have had 46 drives this season. 46 total drives. They've scored 60 offensive points.
That's awful.
They had 24 points on their first offensive possession of the game. So 4 drives, their first offensive possession. They had a 15-play touchdown drive against Vegas, a 1-play touchdown drive against the Giants, a 16-play touchdown drive against Jacksonville, and a 6-play field goal drive against the Cowboys. So 40% of their total points have come on the first drive of this game. That means they have 42 other drives this season. They've scored 34 points on the other 42 drives.
That's less than
for a
Is
staggering.
did you subtract like kneel down drives, stuff like that?
No, that's just total drives, to be honest with you.
That's
So maybe there are
nasty
kneel
work.
down. Have the Browns kneeled down?
No.
Maybe not.
I could. Well, it's a good thing.
No
By Friday,
victory.
I'll have that figured
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
for
even
you.
if you do, even if they have, it's only be like 1 or 2. I mean, it's still
But
terrible.
34 points on 42 non-opening drives this
That
season. That is by
beyond
far
awful.
the lowest in the NFL.
If
there
the
you
Browns
go.
don't reach out for Devontae, is they doing themselves a disservice?
They should trade for.
I don't know. That's a midseason acquisition you make.
Yeah, does he want to go to the Browns? If you're
know.
Devontae Adams and you're not happy, you want to get traded to the Browns right now?
And all of a sudden, if the Browns win 5, 6, 7 games or whatever, and it's a really
the
brutal
deadline?
season,
Yeah.
he's already unhappy, and they're 2-2 in Vegas.
Let's stop it, guys.
I'm
we
calling
know,
the Titans for
We know
DeAndre
he's ended up
Hopkins.
on the Chiefs, by the way. They lost.
yeah.
Rasheed Rice is maybe out for the year.
Yeah.
They lost.
maybe he out.
Pacheco is out for. maybe
Worthy's
the
still
year.
healthy though, right?
Yeah.
We'll see you in
We'll see you in
overtime.
overtime.
Peace.
Go pick up
Deuces.
Nicole.